deadline. Is it over? And, the Pacers, at least from what we know right now, be unsurprising. They haven't done anything, and the expectation was for them not to sell everything and try to tear it down and build it back up in a fashion in which Orlando is clearly doing right now. Man, I saw my man Gary Harris. I saw Pops Harris on Thursday. Gary Harris is a part of that deal going from Denver to Orlando, reportedly for Aaron Gordon. But Orlando unloaded today. And other teams, bits and pieces here or there. George Hill. Good for George Hill. He's 34 years old. He's been for how many teams? 6? Somewhere in that neighborhood? 7? Top of your head, how many teams George Hill's been a part of? San Antonio, the Pacers, the Kings, Milwaukee, New Orleans, Oklahoma City, and now Philly. Did I dream New Orleans? I've got 7 here. Got 7.
I was thinking, did he play for Atlanta? I can't remember.
I got 7 right here on my hands. Plural. 7. Just a thought. And again, I say good for him, and that's true. I'd play for every team until I'm 34 years old if I had the opportunity. It's much better than not getting paid when you play pickup basketball. I would much rather do that. He's going to go and take a last shot. I don't know, maybe a last shot, maybe not, but he's going to be 34 years old and playing with a contender. Did I get it right?
8 teams.
8.
Spurs, Pacers, Jazz, Kings.
Was he with the Jazz for a minute? I forgot about the Jazz.
Kings, Cavs, Bucks, OKC, Milwaukee, and now wherever he got sent to.
The Sixers. I was pretty tight on that, though. That's not bad. I got 7 of the 8 off the top of my head. That's pretty impressive. We'll go over some of these deals a little bit later on. I was sitting on my couch last night, and I was a smidge away from basically the 3:07 mark of the fourth until Karis LeVert drained that step-back 3. And everything was celebrated. I was going to trade everybody because that was terrible. Just one of those fourth quarter closes, and really things were going well in the fourth quarter up until that point. And then they go through a stretch, and in this case, close to a 3-minute stretch. Didn't turn out to be altogether a 3-minute stretch, but close to it, to where their offense was just awful. They got just terrible looks down the stretch. And really, it went in, but I'm assuming a lot of Pacer fans, and hopefully that becomes his shot. But Karis LeVert on a step-back 3, it went in, and that's good because the alternative would not have been so good. You would have been beaten by just a craptastic team in the Detroit Pistons. But watching all that last night, good moments, not so good moments. The offense still kind of sputters at times, and defensively they still have the similar issues. But they won, and that's a good thing. They won, and that's a good thing. Trade deadline is right now, and again, we'll continue to follow it. But in case you're wondering, you got nothing. Nothing upon nothing going right now. So we shall follow it. Seriously, that was a great shot by LeVert. Don't get me wrong. That's probably not the one that you bank on every single time. And anybody see, was McConnell doing the My City thing? Anybody see that? Was that in honor of Victor Oladipo? And anybody see McConnell? When the team was going back to the bench after the timeout, after LeVert made that step-back 3 with the My City thing? That is indeed what it looked like to a lot of us watching the game last night. Speaking of Victor Oladipo, he is still, oddly enough, and there just has to be something held up in the paperwork here. Why in the world? There's no way he's staying in Houston, is there? Like, they kept him out the other night because you thought he was getting traded right then and right there. Yeah, Denver loaded up. Chicago is making a run at it. Vujacic they bring in. Who else they bring in besides Vujacic?
Alfred Aminu.
Oh, yeah. So they are making a run at it. And then they traded who they bring? They get Troy Brown and then Mo Wagner from the Wizards for what? Remember the dude was from Boise State years ago? I think he was a top 15 pick somewhere in that neighborhood, maybe even higher. Chandler Hutchison, who doesn't get much clock. And for Daniel Gafford was the other guy. Yeah, some of these aren't going to knock your socks off unless you watch a lot of NBA, and I watch a lot of NBA, so I just love basketball. It's the way that it is. So, yeah, the Pacers are going to continue to go right down the middle on this, and I hope they play better than they did in large part in the last 3 minutes last night. Man, that fourth quarter stuff is just frightening because you just sit back as a viewer when you're at home and you kind of sit back and wait for it to happen. And you get inside 4 minutes, and I thought, man, they're going to go ahead and close this out and we're going to feel good about it. But they just can't do it. It seems like, and I guess this is the case with basketball in general, but it seems like they get to that point to where they really could blow it wide open. And really the only team they've done that I have any recollection of in recent memory is Miami a week ago Friday night. They get to that point where you get the ball and you have a chance to really stomp them out. And they have a chance to go up double figures, inside 4, miss a shot, don't get a good look. Or you take a bad shot. I thought what that might have been. I think they were up 9, and let me see if I got this right. Up 9, 3:07, somewhere in that neighborhood remaining. They go down, and I think LeVert shot a step back 3. That was a long rebound that Jeremy Grant, we were talking about 4s that can do some things. Did Jeremy Grant play the 4 or the 3 in Detroit? Jeremy Grant's good. Like we were talking about Thaddeus Young, the former Pacer, and a couple of other 4s. Jeremy Grant's good. Now, I'm assuming it's not fun to be in Detroit, but it's probably a little bit fun for him because he gets to showcase how good individually he is, where he really hasn't had the opportunity in the past to do. Just in flashes. But it was a long rebound. He goes basically coast to coast, lays it in, and then the Pacers just get 3 consecutive awful looks. And then the Justin Holiday foul. And believe me, it wasn't a foul. That wasn't a foul. And I know that they go to – where do they go? To New Jersey. They go to New Jersey, and they solidify that was a foul. It wasn't a foul, but the problem that you have – I think Quinn mentioned it last night. It was on the backside, and Holiday got close enough to be considered being in his landing space, even though Grant is kicking his leg out, and it was a bunch of BS. I didn't feel that was worthy to send one of my patented tweets to the NBA officials, as I do most nights, because they love me. I can't believe I'm not blocked yet. They love me. I thought, yeah, you know what? All I'm going to get is the definition of the rule, and it's going to piss me off even more, so I'm just not going to do it. And that's where I'm all grown up. I feel like I'm all grown up in social media. I'm one of those, I look at it now and I go, all right, do I really want to do this? Because this is just going to add hassle in my life that I don't want. Nah, you know what? I'm not. I'm just not even going to do it. I mean, really, nobody really cares anyway, right? It's not like I'm shaking my fist at the world and making some huge statements. Nobody really cares. And the people that do care only probably want to just get a little back and forth going with you, and I don't want that. I mean, there's only a few things in social media I want to back and forth about, and, you know, a lot of stuff that entertains me. And this hassle crap in social media doesn't entertain me. It never has and never will. So, yeah, I looked at that thing for a minute. I was going, yeah, I want to hit send. Nah, I'm not. Nah, I'm not. I mean, if they didn't care the other night when little ball boy guy with his squeegee didn't get out there in Miami and get that pond of sweat soaked up in time for T.J. McConnell to break his neck going in for a layup on the other end, yeah, they're not going to care what I have to say about this. So, better judgment. I'm a mature 51-year-old person, and I feel good about that. But the Pacers moving on to Dallas coming up on Friday. Trade deadline as it came down to the stretch. And here it is. Oladipo is going to Miami. So how about that? And it's exactly what he wanted. Victor Oladipo is going to Miami. And you guys will never want to hear that Will Smith song ever again. Not that you care right now. You're pretty much detached from it, right? But Oladipo is in Miami. So he wanted to go there. That's where he is. And we'll see if the Heat want to pick him up long term. And there you go. All right, we can hit that if you like at 239-1070. Email address at jmv at 1070thefan.com. Wojnarowski, who's the only guy to follow here. I mean, you talk about cornering the market on information. It's basically Wojnarowski and then Shams. Shams will get those scraps in there too, and then nobody else gets anything. Nothing. Zero. It is amazing. I mean, even in the NFL, like Schefter will tweet something, and then Rappaport, and I'm sure he doesn't do this, but it looks like he copies and pastes it and then sends it out 35 seconds later. Basically the same. That's what it looks like. I'm sure he doesn't. That's what it looks like. But even occasionally Pelissaro or Silver or somebody, but in the world of the NBA, there's like one man. One dude, and then Shams getting the table scraps, and that's about it. Wojnarowski says the Raptors are keeping Kyle Lowry. So there you go. We'll get you updated on a lot of stuff. As I mentioned, Oladipo is getting his ultimate wish, and he's going to go to Miami to finish out this season, and we'll see where that goes from here. He's getting two wishes right now. He's going to Miami, where he wanted to go, where he lives, and he's also getting the opportunity to become a free agent and make some big cash. Now, he's getting it all. He wanted both of those things. Talk about having your cake and eating it too. That's nice. And that's what Oladipo got. All right, T.Y. Hilton, we talked about this yesterday. Pat McAfee had T.Y. Hilton on his show today. And I'll let Kyle in on this a little bit, though. From what you gather, we were talking about this yesterday. There was a better offer for T.Y. Hilton out there, and apparently this yesterday went all the way down to the wire. This negotiation, where T.Y. was this close. If you're looking at me on YouTube Live inside the lounge, like this close, this close. This close to going to Baltimore. The Ravens had that other offer, and, T.Y. was going to make more money in signing with them than he was in the entirety of this contract. And apparently the number that he had put out there was not one that Chris Ballard, this is coming from the Pat McAfee show, this was something Chris Ballard wasn't going to reach up until 3 o'clock, and as T.Y. explained it to Pat, apparently Jim Irsay stepped in, sent T.Y. a text. T.Y. said, we're not there yet. Talked about, I guess, his deal with Baltimore, and apparently Jim Irsay got it done. That's what you gather? Jim Irsay got it done?
Yeah, T.Y. said he got off the phone with Chris right before he was going to make a decision, thinking, well, it looks like I'm signing with Baltimore.
Right.
And then Irsay texted him, and T.Y. told Irsay the number he wanted. Irsay say, okay, we're getting it done.
If you're the frugal general manager that is going by the process and is really careful and really hardcore on your final number, and I know ultimately what you got to say because he's the owner, but do you dig that? Do you deem that as interference?
I'm sure Chris doesn't like it.
Deep down inside, you got to think, I was hardlining this. All right? Hardlining this just makes you wonder if indeed that's how that went down, according to T.Y. on Pat's show today. That makes you wonder. It does. And I've always wondered that. Because I brought this up before, because you get, Ballard talking about how, the window is just now starting to open, and then Jim Irsay acts like the window's been open for a year. We got to go right now. Multiple Lombardis, golden era. So you do get mixed messages. you do get mixed messages when you get the fourth most salary cap space going on in the NFL. And granted, I think anybody with any logic understands they're going to have to pay and extend 3 dudes they want to, and that's going to cost them. But you also get from the owner that they're ready to win and ready to challenge right now. You get from the owner that they would love to have skill position players the likes of Travis Kelce. There's only one Travis Kelce, but there are guys that could play a role here or there, just not be him. You know, when you're pointing fingers at Tyreek Hill or Travis Kelce, that does kind of set the standard for the fan base to go, all right, well, you got this money. Clearly, there is an upgrade needed at wide receiver. Clearly, there's an upgrade needed at tight end. Then why are you not going to do it? Unless Jim just conveniently forgets about how they're going to have to extend 3 guys. But I think that is a fantastically interesting scenario right there. I mean, great. If indeed it went down the way that it was described on Pat's show today. I like the 11th hour getting in there with Jim. I say this. I mean, Jim is an owner. I say this all the time, and then sometimes, you know, people get snarky about it. Jackassery occurs. But, man, that dude is a fantastic owner, and he wants to win, and he has a huge heart. He has all that. And that's not me saying it because people feel that I have to say it. I don't have to say anything. I just got to be me. But it is so true. That part is so true. Now, when you look at free agency, I mean, we know this. You made T.Y. Hilton for a year and $10 million happy. And you got Danico Autry down in Nashville now who's going to be pissed off for a couple of games. We'll see if that matters against the Colts within the AFC South because he didn't get paid or didn't get the type of love that he felt he should have received from this team. I'm assuming Jim didn't step in on that. Now, there are differences here, and I understand that. One is Danico Autry. The other has not been a cornerstone forever as T.Y. has been. In the hierarchy of Colts, modern-day wide receivers, and I'm not going to go – I don't go back to the Baltimore era because nobody gives a fat crap about that around here. But in the modern-day hierarchy of wide receivers in a Colts uniform, where is T.Y.? Is it Marvin, Reggie, Marvin, T.Y.?
Probably go Marvin, Reggie, T.Y.
See, here's the thing. Marvin is the best. Reggie's the most popular.
Yeah.
So you can flip those back and forth. And then you got T.Y. over everybody else?
No, I got T.Y. 3.
Yeah. So, according to that, you can thank Jim Irsay for getting that deal done. Cashman's watching. You like my bird shirt? Hey, by the way, if you're watching on YouTube Live right now and you're looking at this bird, this is like the old school. How should I explain this? I don't know if this is a word or not. You know, the encyclopedia in my brain or my dictionary in my brain only goes like 3 or 4 words. But this is the cartoonization of Larry Bird. Remember those shirts back in the day? We all had those, right? And they have one now of Tucker Barnhart. But remember in the late 90s? When you'd go get those T-shirts and they would have, you know, Eric Davis and Barry Larkin. I had Eric Davis and Barry Larkin and Sabo. And they were like cartoon pictures, you know, with the players on it. And I remember Kirk Gibson had one in a Dodger uniform after they won the World Series in 1988. Well, this is kind of like what they've done at the shop in Broad Ripple and Carmel. And they have these Larry Bird shirts right now on sale. And the Tucker Barnharts are now released, too. His is pretty badass. It is. But you might want to check that out. In fact, I think, when is baseball opening day? Is it a week from yesterday?
The 1st,
April
I think it
1st? What the hell is April the 1st? I thought it was a week from yesterday. I'm going to be at Joe's up on the north side with Ryan Nally and Brent Holverson of the gang. We're going to be welcoming in opening day, and I think the shop is going to bring some Tucker Barnhart T-shirts like this to give away.
April 1st is a week from today.
Week from today, we're going to be at Joe's for opening day, and we'll get you those Tucker Barnhart shirts if you want to show up for them. If you want to check out this bird one right now, it is pretty awesome. Indiana State Days Bird. You can view it via YouTube Live inside the lounge on YouTube Live. Oh, caricature. Yeah. I said cartoonization. Is that a word? See, here's the problem, though, Jeremiah. Caricature, it is borderline a word that I try to stay away from. It will take me back to JMV 88. It is right there with rule and asterisk. Those are like three words I go. It's like when I get close to having to talk about or say one of those words, a little alarm bell goes off in my little tiny brain and goes, hey, this is going to make you sound like an ass. Don't do it. Here comes JMV 88. You're going to slide right back into the Southern Drawl lisp. Don't do it. So, yeah, that is one. There are probably five. Those are the top three right there. So I'll say with a cartoonization, which I think is nice. Mike wanted to know, so why was Vic traded for the Pacers? Because he was not going to return. And yes, he did have issues. He did have issues organizationally. They'll say he didn't, but he did. And he wasn't going to come back, and they wanted to get something for him, and they got Karis LeVert, which is something good to get for him. He ultimately didn't want to go to Miami. Now, we'll see how long he stays there. He wanted two things. He would love to have gone to Miami, and he wanted to hit free agency full bore. So it looks like he's going to get both unless Miami decides to go ahead and re-up him before he gets to free agency. But he looks like he's going to get both wishes. And those were both wishes. Miami and then free agency. We can discuss that. We can discuss that of T.Y. Hilton if you want to do that. We can double back to the NBA trade deadline if you want to go there. Pacers and Pistons from last night. Good for Karis LeVert. I don't know if that's a shot that you're going to hold your breath on being hit a lot, but it went down, and that's good because the alternative was not. And don't put me in JMV 88. Come on, Jeremiah. I don't need to go back there again. I had to work hard to get out of there. TJ Wolf is going to join us at the bottom of the hour. The former Martinsville high school player was fantastic there, played at Murray State, got with Mick Cronin, was with Mick Cronin when he was at Cincinnati, and is now with Mick Cronin at UCLA. So both he and Lewis, who joined us on the show yesterday, are on the same staff in Westwood. TJ Wolf going to join us coming up at the bottom of the hour to talk about his team, to talk about the path, and ultimately what he would like to do. It is going to be a good story and probably not one, well, really not one you're going to hear anyplace else. Brother Ryan's daughter, Izzy, plays on my daughter's basketball team, so the Wolf family I know very well now. And we'll get TJ on coming up at the bottom of the hour. Denary, top of the 4 o'clock hour. Chappell will talk about that T.Y. Hilton story. And I'm going to ask him, I mean, somebody that's covered the Colts since they got here in 84, that has a great deal of background to it, and certainly knows the inner workings of what's going on right now. If indeed that's the case, if Jim Irsay stepped in, a hardline stance for Ballard financially, Jim Irsay steps in and says, all right, I'm going to get this done for you, and pushes this through, would that make Chris Ballard happy? And B, Matt Sinclair, I did have the Nasty Boys one too. See, you're going to ask me to say it again. The caricature shirt of the Nasty Boys. Rob Dibble, Randall Kirk Myers, Norm Charlton, 1990, had that one too. That was a golden era of sportswear. And then my dumb ass goes out and buys Le Coq Sportif because it was in a song. Can you imagine? I waltz up. I think, where was this? The athletic department in the old college mall? I think sometime Le Coq Sportif was in a song, right? I got to get some Le Coq Sportif. What do you guys got? Well, we got this. It was just biker shorts. Can you imagine me rolling up athletic department of the college mall with a hanger with biker shorts from Le Coq Sportif on it And like the lady going, oh, yeah, I think that'll look great. What a great idea. There's a golden era of sportswear, though. All right, quick break. We shall return. YouTube Live, I'm going to log in to see what you guys doing inside the lounge, and we got a loaded show for you on this Thursday. 239-1070. Email address is jmv@1070thefan.com. On Twitter at jmv1070, as I mentioned, inside the lounge on YouTube Live. Shout out to BT Dew. BT Dew got the free liquid Saturday night Larceny Bourbon Double Shot Power. That's 2 bottles that he got by virtue of playing along on Saturday. And I got that for you coming up on B1057 again this Saturday. Larceny Bourbon Double Shot Power, hashtag free liquid Saturday night. Coming at you again from Heaven Hill Distillery. BT, enjoy. Back with you next.
PropSwap is America's exclusive #1 app to buy and sell sports bets. Kevin Bowen here. PropSwap is a huge advantage that I use to find the best odds in the country. Download the free PropSwap app today.
We've been listening in on those 2 drivers, sir. Take a listen.
Nice work, Agent, whatever your name is.
Sorry, let me just dial in the frequency. Stand by.
This is a Nissan sales event ad. Got it?
They're saying it's a Nissan sales event ad.
Bravo, you cracked it.
But, wouldn't there be some sort of announcer, sir?
Give it a sec.
Secret's out. Hurry in for unbelievable savings at your local Nissan store or shop online at nissanusa.com. Get a low $229 per month lease on the 2021 Nissan Rogue or get 0% APR financing on 14 models. Well-qualified lessees, $49.59 initial payment for 36 months on 2021 Rogue. Initial payment amounts exclude tax, title, and license. Disposition fee due at lease end. Well-qualified buyer subject to NMAC credit approval. See dealer for financing details. Call 1-888-858-8319 for offer details, list of eligible models, and important safety information. Ends 3/31/21.
Hey basketball fans, this season make sure you're watching all the games with an ice-cold Dos Equis. It's light, refreshing cerveza that's perfect whether you're at the game, at a sports bar, or just posted up on the couch. So before next tip-off, remember to pick up some Dos Equis. Join the Dos Equis team in the Fan Zone Kevin Bowen at Payless Liquors, 146 in Gray Road today from 5 to 7 to sample, pick up fun Dos Equis merchandise, and stock up before the games. Enjoy Dos Equis responsibly. 2020 Dos Equis Lager Especial, imported by Cervezas Mexicanas, White Plains, New York.
We buy any car. We buy any car. We buy any car. Any.
Did you know trading in your car at a dealer could cost you money? A recent study found consumers who trade in their car pay an average of $990 more. So don't trade in. Sell it to We Buy Any Car. Learn more and get your free online valuation now at WeBuyAnyCar.com.
Find out how much your car's worth at We Buy Any Car.
Boy, the action never stops at BetMGM. Hoops and hockey, red hot, and baseball's right around the corner, so it couldn't be a better time to take a shot at an easy 100 from the king of sportsbooks. If you sign up today and use, oh, by the way, it's Big Joe, and if you sign up today using my bonus code BIGJOE100, you can win $100 in free bets when you place a $1 moneyline wager on the Lakers-Sixers game, and if either team hits a 3, you win. No matter what your favorite sport is, it's always showtime at BetMGM. Get in on the fun with innovative parlay selection builders, daily promotions, boosted odds specials, and they got a whole lot more. Download the app or just go to BetMGM.com. Pretty simple there. And be sure to use that bonus code BIGJOE100 to win $100 in free bets when you wager $1 on the Lakers or the Sixers to hit a 3. Bet with confidence. Turn your game days into paydays at BetMGM. This is a new customer offer, paid and free bets. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. Must be 21 years or older to wager. If you or somebody you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
Small business owners, is your internet making office tasks painfully slow? Are your file upload speeds sluggish? Are your video calls choppy? You need more speed. AT&T Business Fiber gives you up to 20 times faster upload speeds at half the price of cable. Faster upload speeds mean smoother, less glitchy video conferencing and faster file transfers. Visit att.com/businessfast or call 844-661-FAST to get our best price on our best service. Imagine it, up to 20 times faster upload speeds at half the price of cable. AT&T experts can help you upgrade to AT&T Business Fiber. Soon, you're going to love your internet. Call 844-661-FAST now. Comparison by Telelogical Systems, 12-2020.
Hey, it's Big Joe, and I want to give a tip of the cap to Jay Smith and Brett Rosie at Penske Chevrolet for holding over the Penske employee pricing they introduced last month. All throughout March, the public will pay exactly what the general manager and area VP would pay when you buy a 2021 Chevy Trax or Equinox at 96th and Keystone Avenue. That's huge savings. Penske Chevrolet is also giving you 0% financing on the new Trax and Equinox. And so you truck lovers aren't left out. 0% is also available on all 2021 Silverado 1500 crew cabs. I love my Chevy truck, especially the flexibility of the crew cab, and you will too. And if you're thinking about an electric car, all 2021 Chevy Bolts are up to $11,500 off when you pay with cash. And Penske Chevy's got some great lease specials this month on the Trax, just $169 a month, and the Equinox is $239 a month, and that's a 39-month lease at 10,000 miles a year. Stop into Indy's premier Chevy dealer, Penske Chevrolet at 96th and Keystone, or shop online at PenskeChevy.com. At Penske Chevy, find new roads.
93.5 and 107.5 The Fan is your tournament headquarters. I'm Brendan King. Hear live scores and updates from every game. Brought to you by the Indiana Laborers District Council and its affiliated local unions.
This is Beth Rovazini, owner of B&W Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Drains. If you need a free second opinion on your HVAC service, go to BigBlackTrucks.com.
B&W, your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
The Ride with JMV.
Collect them, trade them, or just enjoy them.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Jump inside the lounge. The debate rages right now. T.Y. Hilton. Jim Irsay stepping in, if that's the story that T.Y. told to Pat McAfee earlier. You digging it? You think Ballard digs on that? He is the owner. What are you going to do? Trade deadline stuff, and whether or not last night T.J. McConnell was giving Levert the My City, do the My City thing. Anybody else notice that? Is that what he was trying to get Karis LeVert to do last night after Karis LeVert hit that game winner? That and more with you coming up in a smidge. Andy Moore, Automotive Group Hotline, former Martinsville High School standout. Had a fantastic career at Murray State, is now an assistant coach at UCLA, and as Michael Lewis suggested yesterday, he is known simply as the Wolf, much like in Pulp Fiction, a guy that can fix issues or problems. TJ Wolf joins us. Hello, TJ. How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Lewis said that you're the Wolf out there. Is that you? You're the fixer?
Yeah, I try to fix things. I try to fix things for Mike.
Now, I will tell you this. I also get this from your brother. I get Keep Dancing Hooker all the time on my Facebook page. What's the background there?
Oh, he always supports me, and he's great. I talk to him every day.
I thought it was a reference to T.J. Hooker, the old television show. Is that correct? Is that it?
Yes. Always been called that, and one day I finally had to figure out where it came from.
Because you're not old enough to understand, like we are, where it came from. So, obviously, that is the case. I mean, you've been through it all. I mean, a great career at Martinsville. I mean, so much success at the OVC while at Murray State. Where does this run right now rank? These 3 wins, getting to the Sweet 16 rank in the entirety of your basketball career so far, TJ?
It's probably the newest thing I've been involved in. I've been to the tournament now 12 times, 3 times as a player, but never made it to the Sweet 16. So it's really neat. And I try to get my family and friends involved. They love it. It's Indiana. Everybody supports you. So it's great.
Yeah, and I'm assuming, I mean, right here where, you do your, I mean, I know that the Ryan and, I'm the president of the Izzy Wolf fan club, as you probably well know. I know that Izzy's been up there. The entire family's been up there watching, right?
Yeah. I hear about the hot shots all the time. He's the leader. I get the scores after the game and the rundown.
Yeah. It is always great. There's nothing like that 5th grade girls basketball conversation that we're having. So that's always good. But, man, I'll tell you what, I love it. Like, Ryan and I got introduced to one another officially about a little over a year ago or so, and he's been an awesome basketball, 5th grade girl basketball dad, and the family has been great. But I love to see the support that you get from them, especially considering this tournament is right here at Indy.
Yeah, it's good. It's great. I finally got something on Ryan. He never got to the Sweet 16, so I can tell him about that because he always lets me know who the leading scorer at Martinsville is.
How many points does he have you? How many points does he have you by at Martinsville?
I think he got me by a couple hundred. Ask him. He knows the exact number. He knows. He lets me know about it.
Who had more attempts?
Oh, he had more attempts easily.
It's DJ Wolf of Martinsville and UCLA on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. What's the reason? You got 3 consecutive wins for this Bruins team, and things weren't looking good down the stretch. Regular season into the Pac-12 tournament. What's been the big difference maker in the last 3 for you guys?
The big difference maker is kind of just getting the guys to believe. We lost 3 in a row to 3 tournament teams heading into the tournament, so Coach had to get some confidence in the guys, get them to believe. He's a good motivator, so we were telling him we needed to motivate the guys a little bit. And he said, watch this, I'll show you what'll do it. He came in and told the guys, you play at UCLA, you have 11 banners up there. He said, that's all the motivation you need. He said, it's UCLA. And our guys know that, and they know what's expected of them.
It's TJ Wolf of UCLA, the assistant coach, formerly of Martinsville High School of the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. You've long since, as a player and now as an assistant coach, had the relationship with Mick Cronin. How has that been, and what do you learn from a guy that's had so much success at each of his stops so far?
He's unbelievable coach. He kind of reminds me of like when I used to go West Bob night practice and stuff like that. He's a motivator, and he brings the energy every day. And he always believes that and says that today I can't bring the energy, I don't need to coach. So he brings it every day. He's a great guy off the floor. He's great. So I enjoy working for him. He's the only guy I've worked for since I've been in coaching, and I enjoy it.
Was it a no-brainer when he asked you to go out to Southern California to be a part of this? Was it no-brainer for you to pick up and go?
Yeah. He made fun of me, though. He's like, you sure you want to come to California? He's like, Martinsville, Indiana. He's like, it's a little different, California. I said, I'm good, Coach, and I've got out there and loved it ever since I've been out there.
Well, you and Lewis, it is kind of weird. You and Lewis, South Central and Southern Indiana dudes out there together. It's Lewis said yesterday, he goes, it's not a light deal here. That's a big decision, especially, he picked up the family and went out there. You have to have, TJ, a deeply rooted belief in who you're following and what is going on to do something like that, because that's not a minor move by any stretch.
Yeah, Mike helps out a ton, him being out there. I went over there one day, and he's like, Wolf, I'm pulling the North Indiana thing. He's like, I got the extension cord ran on the TV out by the pool. He's like, it's so Indiana. He's like, get over here. He's like, we got to watch some college football.
Now, do you keep close tabs back here even when you're out in Southern California? Like right now, it's easy to do because the entire family's here and going to these games so far. But do you keep close tabs, you and Ryan, back and forth constantly, text-wise?
Yeah, I text with Ryan every day. And Mike and I always talk about Indiana high school scores and what's going on in Indiana. He always gives me the rundown on Jasper, and I'll give him what's going on in Martinsville.
No, it is pretty cool. This whole experience for you. I know it's great to win. I know it's great to get to the Sweet 16, but the experience, inside the Indianapolis bubble, it is still different, but it's something you guys have gotten used to, certainly over the course of this year. How was the year in its entirety, outside of what is the normalcy of what you know basketball to be? Because it's been odd, but how have you and how has your team obviously adapted to that and now within the bubble here in Indy?
In the bubble, we feel like we kind of got a little bit of advantage because in California, our rules were a little more strict. So we're used to eating the meals in our room, used to eating cold food, trying to cut steak with a plastic fork. We're used to all that kind of stuff. So, it's not really different for us being in here. But the guys have been great. We've had a full season. We didn't have any positive tests, no shutdowns. So the guys have been great about, laying low, just staying away from people. I feel bad for them, but they've done a great job, and we haven't had any shutdowns. We got to continue that, though.
It's great. I love you. You cut your food with a plastic fork and steak knife. That's outstanding, man. That's part of it, though, man. I mean, that's part. That's like, listen, Lewis doesn't have any silverware in his home anyway. He's probably used to that already.
He probably doesn't.
No doubt.
We got Prime 47 coming tonight, and I asked the owner, I said the one thing I want is a steak knife. That's all I want.
It's not bad. Did you go to Top Golf yesterday with everybody else, or were you watching film?
Yeah, I went over to Top Golf. The players had a great time. They loved it. And it was just good to get out for a little bit.
Well, the story is great. I mean, it really is. And, the fact that you went and, went with Mick Cronin and you and Michael Lewis are out there together and you get the 2-seed Alabama coming up in the Sweet 16, 7:15 coming up on Sunday, I believe. Yeah, Sunday evening, 7:15 at Hinkle. That's pretty damn awesome for you right there, TJ. It is.
Yeah, it's a neat opportunity, and the guys are fired up to play. They want to keep it going. And they'd like to hang a banner in Westwood, which we had to let them know you got to win a national championship to hang a banner there. There's no other banners going up.
Yeah, well, we're going to send a jersey out with you, a Hot Shots jersey, and you can take a picture of that in Pauley Pavilion and send it back. All right? Can you do that?
I'll do that for sure.
That'd be pretty awesome right there. It would. Hey, I'm really happy for you. And like I said, I got to know your family a hell of a lot more in the last year, and it is really cool to talk hoop with, and very, very excited, very happy for your success. You and Lewis and everybody, keep that thing going. The best of luck on Sunday against Alabama, TJ.
Thank you. Hope to see you at a Hot Shots game over there.
You got to bring it over there. You can go. You can go keep the scores table because your brother's not good enough at it, apparently, from what I've heard.
Yeah, I heard that story.
Nobody. Hey, here's the thing: nobody is ever good enough to keep the clock at that age. Nobody is ever. So, but you would fit right in. TJ, thank you.
Thank you very much.
You got TJ Wolf of UCLA on the Eddie Moore Automotive Group hotline. Nobody, and you guys know this if your dad's out there, there is nobody, and I mean nobody that is good enough keeping the clock. Nobody. Nobody's good enough at keeping the scoreboard. It is certainly not me. I mean, I suck at doing that, and I suck at keeping the book. Sometimes I've been known, been accused, and probably because I'm known, I'm only accused because I'm known for spreading the fouls around occasionally. And that comes from having an overly aggressive daughter. And sometimes she'll get herself in a little bit of a pinch foul-wise. And sometimes, all right, just, right there, move it over. And then run the clock. Yeah, you get watching the game, not paying attention. I forget to start it. Everybody's yelling at you. We got to get that Hot Shots jersey and Pauley right there. That looked good. We need to get Walton holding the Hot Shots jersey and Pauley. That'd be really good. All right, quick break, and we shall return to Nary top of the hour. Pacers did nothing either way at the trade deadline. Former Pacer Victor Oladipo is getting a wish, and then I'm thinking he's going to get both. He's going to go to Miami, and then he's going to be able to dive headfirst into free agency unless Miami decides to go ahead and sign him longer term here before he hits free agency or as he hits free agency. But he is getting exactly what he wanted. He is going to Miami, and he is going to hit free agency. We'll hit that. T.Y. Hilton's storyline, Pacers last night, and more. Inside the Lounge on YouTube Live or at 239-1070. We're back with you next.
Kids, tell your parents about Form's Sprout of the Month contest where you could win $100 in a Sprout account. Details at 1075thefan.com.
Since there was no basketball tournament last March, Unibet is offering twice the sign-up bonus this year. Get $40 free and $500 risk-free. With twice the bonus, go twice as hard. Woo! Watch on 2 screens. Woohoo, yeah! On 2 couches. Both cheeks. Thanks. And place twice the bets. Bonus. Get $40 free and $500 risk-free. Unibet Sportsbook. Crazy about the odds. Must be 21 or over to play and physically located in Indiana. Restrictions apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
Hey, John here at 888-724-5129 at WeGrowHairIndy.com today. You want your real growing hair again? It's just a phone call away. Really, Darren Andrews will just explain to you with a private consultation all the things that go on. And if you feel that you're losing your hair, I mean, heck, if you see that you're losing your hair and you want an option to do something about it, I'm just here to tell you that their options, their technology, their procedures work. It'll get you real, and I mean real growing hair again, and you can get it done. Talk to Darren Andrews at 888-724-5129 or WeGrowHairIndy.com today.
Gerber Collision and Glass offers contact-free estimates and repairs. Our top priority is the health and safety of our customers and team members. That's why our drop-and-go services include 3 flexible options for repairing your vehicle without having to walk into one of our shops. You can schedule an appointment for drop-off, arrange a contact-free curbside estimate, or send us photos of the damage for an online estimate. Learn more and find your location at GerberCollision.com. Get it to Gerber.
Got a great idea for you. It is raining, and it is going to continue to rain. We may have some storms in there. So Lance actually called me the other day, and he said, hey, JMV, remind folks to make sure that the sump pump's doing what it should, because the last thing you want to have happen is to find out that your sump pump is inactive or not doing what it should, and then have your situation flooded. You don't want it. 317-284-9526 for a checkup or for something that needs to be done right now. Let's all make sure the sump pump is getting the water where it needs to go and not inside your home. 317-284-9526. That's LD Smith Plumbing. Large or small emergencies, 24/7, 365. Lance and his local team have your back. Mention my name. Get $50 off any service right now at LD Smith Plumbing. 317-284-9526 online, ldsmithplumbing.com today.
The 16 champions have advanced, and we're all using PropSwap, the #1 app to buy and sell sports bets. I'm Kevin Bowen, and let me tell you a little bit more about PropSwap. Many prop swappers have been buying and selling Loyola Chicago all year and pocketing thousands of dollars on Sister Jean and the Ramblers, and the winning keeps on coming for them. Last week, a seller prop swapped his $60 Loyola ticket into $5,000. How about Baylor? When all the sports books have the Baylor Bears odds at 3-1, Baylor is selling on PropSwap at 6-1. PropSwap has great tickets right now for sale on every team. Remember, PropSwap always has the best deals because you're buying directly from other sports bettors who've listed their tickets and are ready to cash out. If you're not buying and selling on PropSwap, you are missing out. On average, sellers are making $500 a month. So don't miss out. Go to PropSwap.com today and download the free PropSwap app.
Hey, it's JMV. Last year was tough, and even tougher on me had I not got into Franciscan Health to have my colonoscopy. Right, Dr. Mon?
That's right, JMV. Because you made your health a priority and didn't put off your colonoscopy, we were able to remove your precancerous polyps before they had a chance to turn into cancer.
I know people that put off their screening. I'm glad I didn't.
1 in 20 Americans will be diagnosed with colorectal cancer in their lifetime, and it's the second most common cause of cancer-related deaths. Putting off your routine colonoscopy is nothing to mess around with, but you can also take comfort that knowing that our cancer center is the first and only accredited program for rectal cancer care, and their team is committed to providing the highest level of care should you need it.
Don't put it off. Get to Franciscan Health. They make it so easy, and then you can sit around and watch hoop.
So don't put it off any longer. Go to franciscanhealth.org/care to learn the facts.
Schedule an appointment, even on a Saturday. Tell them JMV sent you.
Place your sports bets at BetRivers.com. You'll find a massive number of basketball betting options, bet point spreads, money lines, and game totals directly from your mobile device. Use one of our 12 easy deposit methods to get in on the action. And when you win, we pay fast. We pride ourselves on our quick and easy payouts. Sign up now. We'll match your first deposit up to $250. More bets, more action, more fun. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT. 1-800-994-8448.
Hey, I'm Piper. Here's my deal. I don't like full price. I do like people who are nice. At Bill Estes Chevy, that's their deal too. This month, get $7,000 off the new Equinox or $8,000 off new Silverado crew cabs. Both have more room for people who are part of my deal, my family. $7,000 off the new Equinox, $8,000 off the new Silverado, and $2,000 more for your trade. Bill Estes Chevy gets my deal, and I like their deal. Visit Bill Estes Chevy at I-465 and Michigan Road, the friendliest intersection in Indy.
The Pacers are in Texas to face the Dallas Mavericks tomorrow night at 8 on 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan. The Ride with JMV.
I got nowhere else to go.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Hey, thank you, TJ Wolf of UCLA, for joining us. Apparently did not score as many points in Martinsville as his brother Ryan, his older brother Ryan, but Ryan had more attempts, according to TJ. But we talked to Michael Lewis yesterday about UCLA. TJ's also on Mick Cronin's staff. Podcasts with each, 1075thefan.com. And I would also, if you missed it yesterday and you're an IU fan, double back and listen to what Michael Lewis had to say about the IU gig. That is worth your IU fan time right there. It really is. That is a great call with Dale and Antonio Davis right there. The caricature shirt. Like I'm rocking with Larry Bird at Indiana State right now. I'm going to have to go with cartoonization, even if I am making up a word. Hey, JMV, I'm glad somebody over on 56th Street wants to win. Maybe the first sign of frustration with Ballard's approach. Saving money to extend guys years down the road makes no sense. We have talked about that here. Sign free agents to contracts that expire before then. That's the point of having guys on rookie deals. We've discussed that often here, have we not? Now, sure as hell what other teams are doing right now. And that point was what I brought up regarding T.Y. Hilton. He was on with McAfee earlier today. And from the sounds of it, Jim stepped in at the 11th hour and upped the ante on the price tag and got the deal done when it didn't look like the deal was going to get done. And whether or not you view that as superseding Ballard or what, I'd be kind of curious. Maybe they both agreed that everything was okay. But T.Y. mentioned that he was well on his way to going to Baltimore without the Irsay intervention. And it also makes you wonder if they dig that being talked about, which I bet they don't. But I find it interesting, and that just goes to show your owner wants to win. I'm not suggesting nobody else doesn't, but he wants to win, and he also sees the value of, a storied performer in this Indianapolis Colts franchise history. Now, granted, there are 1 for 10 doesn't sound that bad. You get any higher than that, then I would be skeptical, even if he is a guy that everybody loves around here. All right, 239-1070. Give me Dave up first today. Dave, go ahead.
Hey, JMV. Yeah, T.Y., I think you definitely got to put him on the Mount Rushmore of Colts receivers, especially, if he finishes his career here and he has a decent year next year. I don't know how you couldn't. Now, does your list include tight ends as well? Or is
I was just thinking of wide receivers. Anybody, really. I know Dallas Clark could be thrown in there. There's some guys that could be thrown there.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Hey, we'll let you go, though. March last year had 73 days in it. How you feel a little better about this?
It did. I completely forgot about that, but March did have 73 days in it last year. Yes.
Yeah, it was awful. And we're the Old Farts Club down there in Turn 3. Hopefully you'll have your show back there.
Well, are we going to – how are we going with fans? I know that I guess the final decision is still floating around out there, but it looks better and better about the number of fans at the 500 at the end of May, correct?
Yeah, absolutely, it does. And but we like to come in and watch the show live. We got an Old Farts Club and the sign. We got to sign it because Scott Dixon's engineer signed it, and the safety corner worker signed it. So we got to definitely get you on there, brother.
I'm ready, man. You just let me know. And I cannot wait for a carb day. I am in so desperate need of a carb day, I can't tell you.
Me too. Well, let's get some warm Fosters out there and then make a deal with it.
Thank you, Dave. Appreciate you, man. Dave is a great dude. He brings by the warm Fosters. There's really not anything worse to drink than warm Fosters. You agree? Are you big on Fosters?
I think I've only had it once in my life, and there's a reason I've only had it once.
Are you big on thick beer? Because there's so many of these beers right now. I mean, you get, like, I saw something the other day that was like a chocolate beer mix that had Oreos on top of the glass. That's about enough to make me want to puke. Just give me some beer.
I like a good stout, but this is about my cutoff. I mean, from here into the fall, I can't drink them.
If you were forced to choose between Guinness and Foster's, which one would you drink?
Guinness. I like Guinness.
When would you drink Foster's? After what?
I drink
Is
it
it at the bottom of the list?
Yeah, I mean, it's below Keystone Light, Busch Light, all those for me.
Man, I'd drink Busch Light before I'd drink. I don't know if that's just where I'm from, how I grew up or what, but hell, give me an ice cold Busch Light and we got something going. Busch Light draft. Yeah, I need a carb day. And we've already put that out there for Doug Bowles, and he knows it. If they don't have time to wrangle up some kind of musical entertainment, I have offered up my services to have a JMV takeover there all day until 3 o'clock and then do the show. So I'll do a little JMV takeover there in Pagoda Plaza and then do the show at 3 o'clock. I've offered up my services absolutely free of charge. Of course, I've done that with DJ Skids, too, and I'm sure he's very appreciative of that. But in case they can't get anybody in there in time, I have offered up my services. I'll tell you the other thing, too. Once all this clears, everybody in the world is going to tour. Everybody that you thought was never going to tour again will tour. You know, people that never stopped here because it was easy to skip, going from Columbus to Chicago to St. Louis to Detroit to Louisville to Nashville, and sometimes Indianapolis gets left out. Nobody's going to get left out now. You're going to hit every mark because these guys have struggled financially in the past year, too. It's going to be an absolute concert explosion whenever everything is back. Hey, the moves that the Snake made for the Celtics, is it Fournier and that's it? What the Celtics have done, Evan Fournier?
I think they just traded Daniel Tice to Chicago for Mo Wagner, too.
They traded Tice?
Yeah.
So what, he misses that three last night? They could have tied it up and they trade his ass, huh? Man, the Snake is dealing. Quick one, Denary, other side, Chapel, 5 o'clock hour. TJ Wolf of UCLA and Martinsville High School earlier. Podcast 107.5. TheFan.com. Hour 2's next.
Move on to the Sweet 16.
And now we're going to get Hinkle, right? Hinkle, half the games at Hinkle here at the Sweet 16, and Baker's Life for the other half.
USC just blew Kansas away from the beginning of the game on.
Michigan-LSU was a great game.
That was the only single-digit game of the entire day.
And Michigan's carrying the Big Ten banner now.
If you're talking about it,
Oregon just kind of steadily pulled away from Iowa in the second half.
We're talking about it.
Credit to Juwan Howard.
Bill Self was beside himself.
Your home for Indy Sports, 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Hey, John here for Love Heating and Air, 317-353-2141. So we're making that transition winter to spring. We hit spring last Saturday. Let's think about getting a tune-up or at the very least a clean-up for your HVAC unit, because you want to make sure the first time you have to turn the cool on, the cool comes out, because it is incredibly uncool if the same old winter hot air comes out. 317-353-2141. That's the best. Love Heating and Air. And right now, the state-of-the-art iWave air purification system. If you would like to have that in your home, because I sure would, they're going to take $125 off your purchase right now just by mentioning my name. So you call John or Chris Love and you go, hey, I want that iWave. I heard it on JMV. They're going to take $125 off your price tag at 317-353-2141 online, love-hvac.com today.
Check out the newest Lady Jane's haircuts for men in Greenwood on State Road 135, just north of Smith Valley Road. Lady Jane's in Greenwood, it's wicked awesome.
This is for the men who never settle. The ones who believe only quitters end a game in a tie. The type of guys who choose the bar with the biggest TVs to overcompensate for theirs at home. And the men who use PTO to catch afternoon basketball in March with the boys. This is the Lodge mentality. This is Twin Peaks.
Who wants to settle for a single TV? With more TVs, bigger screens, plus our fabulous scenic views, there's more to watch at Twin Peaks.
The 16 champions have advanced, and we're all using PropSwap, the #1 app to buy and sell sports bets. I'm Kevin Bowen, and let me tell you a little bit more about PropSwap. Many prop swappers have been buying and selling Loyola Chicago all year and pocketing thousands of dollars on Sister Jean and the Ramblers, and the winning keeps on coming for them. Last week, a seller prop swapped his $60 Loyola ticket into $5,000. How about Baylor? When all the sports books have the Baylor Bears odds at 3-1, Baylor is selling on PropSwap at 6-1. PropSwap has great tickets right now for sale on every team. Remember, PropSwap always has the best deals because you're buying directly from other sports bettors who've listed their tickets and are ready to cash out. If you're not buying and selling on PropSwap, you are missing out. On average, sellers are making $500 a month. So don't miss out. Go to PropSwap.com today and download the free PropSwap app.
Today is nonstop. And suddenly, your checking account is overdrawn. But what if we gave you more time on that one? At Huntington, if you accidentally overdraw your account by $50 or less, we've put a $50 safety zone in place, so you won't be charged an overdraft fee. It's one more way we're looking out for you, so you can have time for what matters most. Huntington, welcome. $50 safety zone does not apply to returned items. Your account will be automatically closed if it remains negative for 60 days. Learn more at huntington.com/safety zone.
If there was a group of people dedicated to training their members by the best professionals at state-of-the-art facilities, and those diverse members entered the workforce as the safest, most productive workers in the industry, if they were an economic force within their communities, and if they were the kind of citizens you'd be glad to have as neighbors, what would you call them? How about the 12,000 proud Hoosier men and women with the Laborers International Union of North America?
Hey, John here for Connecticut Water. I know. Sometimes you're not thinking about water. Hey, listen, I wasn't thinking about water. Then Joe John, the dentist, said, hey, maybe you ought to think about your water. They came to test my water, and I live off a well. Can you imagine? I mean, I might as well have been like taking drinks out of the ditch. It was so bad. And then Connecticut comes in, installs the Premier Series water softener, the K5 in-home drinking water station. Voila. I have the best water possible. Thank you, Connecticut. And you can, too. That's why I'm telling everyone about Connecticut and how you can get $200 off your new equipment purchase right now if you mention you heard it from me. $200 off your new equipment purchase right now if you just mention my name at Connecticut. 2 locations, northeast side Castleton, south side US 31 and Southport Road. The Connecticut Water app. Download that to your smartphone or device today or online, ConnecticutIndy.com.
Since there was no basketball tournament last March, Unibet is offering twice the sign-up bonus this year. Get $40 free and $500 risk-free. With twice the bonus, go twice as hard. Woo! Watch on 2 screens. Woohoo, yeah! On 2 couches. Both chicks. And place twice the bets. Bonus! Get $40 free and $500 risk-free. Unibet Sportsbook. Crazy about the odds. Must be 21 or over to play and physically located in Indiana. Restrictions apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
You are tuned into the Nissan March Madness Command Center for scores, key matchups, and game times. Right here on Indy's hometown sports station, 93.5, 107.5 The Fan. Sponsored by your local Nissan dealers. 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
WFNI, WIBC, HD2, W298BB, WIBC, HD3, W228CX, Indianapolis.
Soccer Saturday featuring Indy 11. If this is your football, this is your show. Saturday at 9 on The Fan. The Ride with JMV.
Thank you for your support.
93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
TJ Wolf of Martinsville, UCLA assistant coach a little bit earlier. Second all-time leading scorer down at the Ville to his brother Ryan. Hot Shots dad, Ryan. TJ, podcast 1075thefan.com. Ari says, what do you mean taking drinks out of the ditch? Nah, I mean, I think until we got Connecticut, and I know my next guest can attest to this as well, I might as well have been drinking water out of the ditch or something. We had ultra hard water. And Connecticut fixed all that up. Now, that's Ari and the gang inside YouTube Live in the lounge right now, where overwhelmingly people want me to host a Carb Day JMV takeover, and I am down. I am with it completely. All I need is the thumbs up from Doug Bowles. I'll bring some equipment that I don't know how to run. I'll bring a microphone that I barely know how to turn on. And I'll bring some speakers that somebody else can hook up. And I'll cut it loose there in Pagoda Plaza absolutely for everybody. I'm just hoping it looks nearly the same. Got my fingers crossed for Carb Day, fingers crossed for the greatest spectacle in racing. Man, means so much. I mean, it may be the most pot because it was run without fans. Not at the right time a year ago, normal time a year ago. This one might be as meaningful as number 100. Maybe not. Maybe. Get back to that in a second. Andy Moore, Automotive Group Hotline. He also loves his water, his Connecticut water. Chris Denari, voice of the Pacers, joins us now. Hello, Chris.
Hey, how you doing, John? I was also thinking about one of my most memorable Carb Day experiences with you when I got in an argument with Jason Whitlock, and I enjoyed every minute of it.
It was about blowing up the team, which many people suggest should be done right now, too. And, yes, that's exactly what it was about. Yep.
Well, I don't agree with that sentiment then, and I don't agree with it now. I'm totally fine with exactly what happened today, and that was it sounds like reading something. They may have created a roster spot today, but no, I think looking at the landscape of what happened, basically the Pacers got Karis LeVert for Kelly Olynyk and Avery Bradley. Is that right? I mean, that's
if you want to do the math, that's the math right there for sure.
So I checked that off as a total win for the Pacers, knowing that you have Karis LeVert for the next 2 years and seeing what he's been able to do in his first 7 or so games. So, no, I've said all along, I really want to see this group healthy. I want to see them have the opportunity to succeed. I think they will. We visited before or right around the All-Star break and right before they had this gauntlet of games. And, I'm sure fans were thinking in the back of your mind, because when your team doesn't win, you're thinking, gosh, are they going to win again? And you looked at those 7 games and, honestly, to come out of there 3-4, and you probably had a chance to be 4-3 or 5-2, you feel a little bit better. Still a ways to go. You're still, in 9th in the Eastern Conference. But, again, I want to see how this group can handle it here down the stretch.
It's Chris Denari, voice of the Pacers, with us. You mentioned with Jalen McHugh being waived, according to sources here. I don't know if that's been made concrete yet, but that's what has been reported. It looks like they are trying to open up a roster spot. They're going to be in the buyout market. I haven't really sized it up other than LaMarcus Aldridge, who is out there right now from San Antonio, that is rumored going to end up in Miami. But is that possibly maybe what we're looking at here?
Well, I'm sure that's anytime you have a roster spot and you're going into the final 2 months of the season. We've seen the Pacers do that before with the situation a couple of years ago when Wesley Matthews was released by the Knicks and the Pacers had an open roster spot and they were able to do that. So if that's the case, I'm sure they'll look at all opportunities out there. When the phone rings, you have to answer. And I'm sure the phone was ringing because I think the Pacers do have some players that are of interest to other teams. But that doesn't mean you have to talk about it. I mean, you might answer and say, hey, thanks for the call, but no, we're not interested. And so I'm sure that's really what happened as far as the Pacers are concerned. You look across the landscape of the league. Chicago definitely made some moves.
Yep.
They're trying to get to the playoffs and put themselves in position to be a playoff team for the next few years. And then you look at Orlando. They had the longest tenured trio of players in Aaron Gordon, Evan Fournier, and Nikola Vucevic, and they'd only had like one winning year in the last 5 or 6. Now, they did make the playoffs last year, but that's something where they have literally torn that down, and they're building from scratch. And you can do that. I'm just not sure it oftentimes will always work, but we'll wait and see what happens with them. And then, like you said, I mean, that blockbuster trade back in January, why did Houston not keep Karis LeVert? And that has worked out as a huge win for the Pacers as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, and you saw Karis LeVert last night knock down that game-winning three. I'm glad he did, because from about the 3:07 mark in the fourth down the stretch, that's really the only thing that went right. That and a Miles Turner defensive play, and that was about it.
Well, yeah, and I sort of documented they have struggled. There have been some struggles here in late game situations, especially at home. You're playing against, and I know Detroit doesn't have a good record. I mean, they were 12-30 coming in, but these are the teams that oftentimes scare you. I mean, I just look at last night, Toronto with Kyle Lowry. You thought maybe playing his final game as a Raptor, but now he's staying in Toronto. They wiped out a really good Denver team, and Detroit was a team that on Sunday or so they went to Toronto and wiped them out down in Toronto. So every night you just don't know what's going to happen across the league, and those are oftentimes the scary games. And I thought the Pacers, had a couple of chances to pull away, and then they had a chance to really not make it a game when Sumner and LeVert sort of carried things in the fourth quarter, and had a couple of bad possessions. I thought took a couple of quick shots.
Yep.
That got a loose ball. Justin Holiday tried to throw it up to Domantas Sabonis, and that got away. But in the end, you got the win. That's what you need to do, and set the table for these 2 road games coming up, Dallas and Washington, before you finally get back home for an extended period of time. I think that's going to be really important for this team, because you think about this March Madness, and absolutely it's been fantastic for the city and for the state, but it's also been a cost for the Pacers not playing at home. So get through these 2, see if you can get some wins on the road. They've been better on the road than they've been at home, and then sort of set the table for April and May to make that push.
Hey, Chris, I've been outspoken on this, and it's just because of the love I have for this place, this market, these people hosting these events, the NCAA tournament. But you also know I carry as much interest in the Pacers as I do anything. I have touted up wanting to see this month of March again at some point be all-encompassing with this tournament, only with fans. Is that something you think you and the Pacer folks want to see ever again, though? I mean, because you get 3 games at home, mostly on the road, and I know that San Antonio does it with their rodeo down at San Antonio all the time, but that is rather taxing on any team. It really is.
Yeah, I mean, from a basketball end, there's no question, but from a city and a community end, and that's where Pacer Sports and Entertainment is. I mean, it would be a fantastic idea. I don't know how often you could do it. I'm not sure how often other cities would want to see first and second rounds and regionals go away, but it would be awfully cool. Could you imagine the number of people? And it's been really neat. And again, I drive downtown to go do the games in the studio or to do these home games, but to see the amount of people, and again, it's not the same amount that you would have, but just to see the vibrancy that we haven't had for the last year. Could you imagine if you had the entire tournament with sold-out buildings at Hinkle and Bankers Life?
Exactly.
And, in Bloomington and Mackey and out at the fairgrounds. So, I think everything's probably on the table for the NCAA after they've taken a look at this and how it's run. But I'm sure it wouldn't be, on a regular basis, but maybe it'd be something they would revisit in an every 10-year type of situation, because this city has clearly shown it can pull off something like that.
I think it has been great. There's no doubt about that, but I can't lie. I'd love to see this, in a kind of normal setting to where, you could really do it with the fans here. I think it'd be awesome. But again, that is a detriment that plays a significant role as to why this month of March has been so difficult schedule-wise for the NBA franchise here in town.
Yeah, and I can't really speak to it because it's different for us from a broadcast end this year is that we're not traveling. But I can only imagine, going out to the airport and traveling as much as this team has done, being away as much as they have. And it usually happens at some point during the year. But, because the Pacers and Pacer Sports and Entertainment, when you had this opportunity, here's the advantage, John, that you had when this was put together by the NCAA and the city, right around the turn of the year. The second half of the schedule had not been announced yet.
Mm-hmm.
So the Pacers could go back to the NBA and say, okay, here's what's going to happen. Now we need to, put this schedule together. This would have not been possible, I'm sure, if this was a regular year, trying to put this together in December and January like they did. But no, it has been a factor. I think, the good news is the Pacers got that win in Phoenix. They got the back-to-back wins in Miami, the win last night. So I know it's not great, but a 4-4 record in the last 8, probably a week or so ago, you were hoping you could get to 4 wins just because of the way the team had played and looking at the schedule. And, honestly, you had lost, 11 of 16 or whatever. You're still only about a couple of games out of a top 4 position in the East. So you still have a lot to play for. And
let's say if Charlotte occupies the 4 hole right now, anything's possible, right?
Yeah.
With the way – I know they got hot quick, but come on.
Well, anything's possible, and Gordon Hayward's done a great job down there, but they've lost LaMelo Ball, and how is that going to affect them down the stretch? Boston made some significant moves, losing Daniel Tice, who's been a nice player for them, but adding Evan Fournier, and then, hey, what about next Wednesday when the Miami Heat come to Bankers Life Fieldhouse? It will be the debut of Bally Sports Indiana. That'll be the first night that we'll have the name change.
Yes.
And Victor Oladipo and the Miami Heat in town. That's going to be must-see TV.
And that is I kind of wonder how they're going to handle the fans. And I know that's not after the tournament, but once the tournament is done here, I kind of wonder how within the city limits here, how the Bankers Life Fieldhouse, if they're going to be able to host more fans than what we have seen. I wonder if they're going to up that ante at all.
Yeah, that will be interesting, and that's all the partnership with the city and the Marion County Health Department. But we have definitely, over the course of January, February, now into March, seen more fans, and there were more fans, it felt like, in the building last night for the Pistons game. So we'll just have to wait and see. It's just like what you've said about the Indianapolis 500 and all the things you feel with the vaccinations that we're getting closer, right? We all feel a little bit better if we can just be a little bit more patient and get, more people vaccinated and those types of things, that we have a real chance to get back to some type of normalcy, right?
Yeah. I'm all for normalcy here, for sure. There's no doubt about that. Chris Denari, voice of the Pacers, via the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. You did mention a little bit. I want to dive back into it. Some of those other teams that made deals today. What did you think about what Chicago did, clearly, to make a run at it this year? It looks like they got better. We saw Boston make some changes. I guess Daniel Tice misses a corner 3 to tie last night and then gets traded the next day. It's a bottom-line business, huh?
Well, and the other thing that you have to wait and see over the course of the next few days, and you mentioned LaMarcus Aldridge rumored as a buyout in San Antonio, and a lot of people speculating he will go to Miami. You feel like Boston has a buyout for a big man, and a lot of people have talked about Al Horford being bought out in OKC and reuniting with the Celtics, because now all of a sudden in the post, I think all they have is Tristan Thompson.
That's it.
And they would go undersized with Grant Williams. So you just feel like Boston probably has a buyout move in place. Chicago definitely changed the tenor of their team. They'd been playing Thad Young as the starting 5. Wendell Carter Jr. had been relegated to a reserve role, so now he's in Orlando. They made a significant trade with Washington. So this is one of those, John, for me, that over the course of the next 24 hours, not only will I be preparing for Dallas, but all of my NBA sheets, you start going through all the roster changes and trying to figure out what guy's going to wear what number. with this new team. Just learned prior to going on the air that J.J. Redick has been traded from New Orleans to Dallas, and that's who the Pacers play tomorrow night. It would be probably highly doubtful that he would be available tomorrow night, but you never know. But Dallas trying to position themselves in the postseason, give another shooter around Luka Doncic. So, yeah, I always find this day fascinating to see what teams are thinking and going forward. But it's not done yet because you still have the buyout players, Andre Drummond, LaMarcus Aldridge. We'll just have to wait and see.
So Chris Denary with us. I felt like I really matured because on Sunday I had fired up a tweet to the NBA officials, the official Twitter account, after Sabonis got hit in the snout, went down in a heap by Iguodala. Nothing whatsoever was called. Nothing was stopped. And then the ball came back down the other way, and his pool of sweat was still there. Nobody had squeegeed it up. And then T.J. McConnell about broke his neck going in for a layup. I had something loaded and ready to rock, and I held back. I held back last night on Justin Holiday's foul, too, because I thought that was horse bleep. Even though you can explain it by the definition of the rule, and that's what they go by, and that's what they went by last night. But, I mean, eyeball test shows you that was BS.
Well, there are a couple of things I'd like to see changed, and it would be – I don't mind replay. I know you're not a huge fan of replay. I'm not – I don't have a problem with replay as long as you can get things right, and I still think they get things wrong in that situation. The call that I'm not a big fan of, and you saw it last night, was – it was not called a clear path foul because Edmund Sumner supposedly did not have control of the ball.
Right.
And my point would be he would have had control of the ball.
If he doesn't get grabbed,
If he doesn't get grabbed. And I really think that's one of the things that they need to change. They need, and I know it can be a subjective call, but a lot of things are subjective calls. A flagrant is a subjective call because that's not made by the replay center. That's made by the officials on site. And just as you said on Sunday, when Sabonis gets hit in the face, and it seems like every other time that he either hits somebody in the face or it's reciprocated, that is a flagrant.
They would have stopped and given him a flagrant one for that. The same elbow that Iguodala gave him. And I know that Iguodala was inadvertent, but it was a high elbow. And they have stressed this year, especially with Sabonis, that a high elbow is going to get you a flagrant one.
And it hasn't mattered if it's a so-called basketball play or not. They have just said that anything above the shoulder will be ruled a flagrant one, and that, unfortunately, I don't think has been consistently called. But again, the call that I look at is when there's an opportunity in a fast break situation, whether you have control of the ball or not. I just think they really need to look at that.
I completely agree. So I held back last night. I didn't hit send on that thing with Justin. Because, for one, and by the way, Jeremy Grant's game, that's one good thing that comes out of watching Detroit is that he gets showcased because they stink and nobody else is any good on that team, really. He gets showcased. He's got a nice game. He really does. But he kicked that leg out. He kicked that leg out.
No, I think he's really good. I might disagree with you that they stink. Yeah, their record is stinky, but I think they are. But they're building for the future.
You're right. I know, but they're stinking while doing it. So.
Yeah, I think Sadiq Bey is going to be a really good player. I think they have some pieces. Again, they're a ways off, but that's what they've chosen to do, and that's where when I follow Twitter or Facebook, and sometimes you just need to not do that. People want draft picks. And my point is when you look at changing your roster and doing those types of things, I point to teams like Minnesota. They've had a lot of high draft picks. Have they hit on Karl Anthony Towns? Sure they have. But they've not hit on a lot of others, and they've not been in the playoffs. I think they've missed the playoffs like 14 or 15 years. Until this year, Phoenix getting Chris Paul, they have been a non-playoff team, and they've had a boatload of high picks. Sacramento, the same thing. So, it's interesting to see teams like Oklahoma City and now Orlando tearing it all the way down and trying to bank on draft picks to build it up. Has it worked at times? You can say it's worked in Philadelphia with the process. It took a while. I'm just not convinced that's the total way.
But even the guy that's, they didn't stick with the guy that actually spearheaded the process in the first place.
Right.
He
paid the price.
Their process outlasted the process. In reality.
Right. Yeah, because you're right. The guys that were in charge of putting that process together, Hinkie, and then the coach, Brett Brown, they didn't last, right? And they moved on to the next crew.
Yeah, they did. Chris Denary, Fox Sports Indiana's via the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. So you officially next Wednesday become Bally Sports? That what I heard you say?
Yes. Next Wednesday it happens March 31st. If you have the Fox Sports Go app, and that's how you watch games, you can watch them on your iPad, your mobile device. It will automatically flip over like a lot of the other apps do to Bally Sports Indiana. And so that'll all take place next Wednesday. And that first game will be the third and final matchup of the year between the Pacers and the Miami Heat.
It's going to be interesting to see. I will say this, and I talked to Kyle. We've kind of talked about this a little bit here too. That their schedule. Anything is easier compared to how the schedule has looked for them in March, but they're going to be given some opportunities here. To win and to get firmly back into this, and hopefully they can take advantage of it.
Well, you do, and I know. You would have looked at last night's game, right? That was a definite must-win, and
it was.
And I would say, just in my experiences, because of the long season, I don't know if I would have put must, but it would have been as close to must as you could get. And I think the key word is a needed win. But you're right; they will have opportunities here. You have to take advantage of those games against lesser teams, even if those lesser teams are not playing for anything and playing loose. So you have a real opportunity. That's why I'm really intrigued with the NBA playoffs when they come in May, especially sort of like a March Madness play-in situation where 7 plays 8, the winner moves on, and then 8, whoever loses that game then will play the winner between 9 and 10. I think that really has the opportunity to be really cool television and really cool basketball in May before you get ready for those best-of-7 series. So it gives a lot more team opportunities. You have less teams that I guess are in the tanking mode, if you will, and should set up a really exciting May.
Hey, speaking of May, and we mentioned the greatest spectacle in racing, have they talked to you yet about the radio network stuff? Has any of that been brought up by this time at all?
Yeah. I'll be in Turn 4 as always. It'll be 20-plus years in Turn 4, over 20 years now on the Indianapolis Motor Speedway radio network. So I'm hopeful that we have Pacers and Racers going on in May. There's nothing like it when you spend time out at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and then you've got a playoff game going on. So, yeah, I'm all set to be a part of the radio network again. Looking forward to spending a couple of days this year with Mark Janes and the crew, and I know I'll be a part of the Brickyard later in the year as well.
Awesome. Chris, I appreciate you, man. Thanks very much. We'll be watching coming up Friday night on the road. Not for you guys. You're at Bankers Live, but on the road coming up in Dallas. Should be fun. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, John.
It's Chris Denary, Fox Sports Indiana on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. It was a busy day prior to the trade deadline. Nothing going on with the Pacers, although they did create a roster spot. So, Kyle, I know that some guys are still being released, but what do you think? I saw Jabari Parker was released. That's not going to float anybody's boat. I know that LaMarcus Aldridge is out there right now. Looks like he's going to end up in Miami from what you hear.
Yeah, but are there going to be are there really ever any buyout guys that make a major difference?
No,
in the postseason.
You'd hoped a couple of years ago Wesley Matthews was going to, and it didn't. So, he tried, but it didn't make a major difference.
And most of these dudes are going to end up on the Lakers, the Clippers, the Nets.
Yeah, but they created a spot, right?
They'll get somebody.
Somebody's going to be coming in here. They at the very least created a spot. Oladipo to Miami, and he wanted to go there. Oladipo wants free agency, and he's going to get that. Miami comes to town next Wednesday. Is that when that is? next Wednesday evening is when you're going to see that triumphant return. That should be a good time. Lord, at Houston got Kelly Olynyk and Avery Bradley.
And a first-round swap.
Yeah.
But it's going to be a high pick. They're not going to swap that out.
Crazy. Oladipo in Miami. Let's do some calls. T.Y. Hilton is back here, as we talked about a little bit earlier. From his appearance earlier with Pat McAfee, it certainly, from what he said, sounded like Jim Irsay stepped in at the last possible minute and was the one that kept T.Y. here. And we'll talk about that top of the hour with Mike Chappell of CBS 4 and Fox 59. Your calls on the other side, inside the lounge, on YouTube Live as well. 93.5, 107.5, and 1070 The Fan.
Place your legal sports bets at BetRivers.com, your new home for sports betting. Millions of betting options a year on the sports you love. We offer live in-game betting on major sporting events worldwide. Tons of bets available during games, from money lines, prop bets, and many more. Use one of our 12 easy deposit methods to get in on the action. And when you win, we offer fast and reliable withdrawals. Sign up now, and we'll match your first deposit up to $250. More bets, better odds, more action. Place your sports bets at BetRivers.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT. 1-800-994-8448.
A paddle dips in and out of emerald green waters. The sun shimmers through the mangroves in the early morning light. High above the Gulf, the wind flows through your hair as you look down upon the miles and miles of white sand beaches below as you glide through the sky in a parasail. Welcome to St. Pete, Clearwater, Florida, where all things vibrant and vivid come together. Plan your next escape at embraceyoursenses.com.
Small business owners, is your internet making office tasks painfully slow? Are your file upload speeds sluggish? Are your video calls choppy? You need more speed. AT&T Business Fiber gives you up to 20 times faster upload speeds at half the price of cable. Faster upload speeds mean smoother, less glitchy video conferencing and faster file transfers. Visit att.com/businessfast or call 844-661-FAST to get our best price on our best service. Imagine it, up to 20 times faster upload speeds at half the price of cable. AT&T experts can help you upgrade to AT&T Business Fiber. Soon, you're going to love your internet. Call 844-661-FAST now. Comparison by Telogical Systems, 12-2020.
Hey, it's JMV here. The tournament is down to 16 teams, and you've been watching from the sidelines until now, and it's your chance to get in on the action. FanDuel Sportsbook is hooking you up. Are you ready? We're talking exclusive 30-1 odds on all 16 teams left in the bracket. Even Gonzaga, even Baylor, even Bama. Top seeds, 2 seeds, whatever. New users get 30-1 odds on any team to win their next game this round. That's awesome. You can win $150 for just a $5 bet. How about that? FanDuel Sportsbook. Download and make that deposit with the 30-1 new user odds today. Use the promo code JMV. That's FanDuel Sportsbook promo code JMV. 21 plus and present in Indiana. New users only must wager in designated offer market. $10 first deposit required. Max bonus $150. Restrictions apply. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
Get ready to sport big savings. It's Hubler's March Mania event.
We've got all your favorite brands like Ford, Chevy, Buick, GMC, Mazda, Nissan, Acura, and Honda. For a limited time, get 0% financing for 60 months on select new models, or lease for as low as $134 per month.
And every new car includes our 10-year, 200,000-mile warranty.
Don't miss Hubler's March Mania event going on now. Be sure to check out our all-new Honda store and our fully remodeled Mazda store. Visit drivehubler.com.
Hubler has it all.
With approved credit available on select Acura models. $16.67 per thousand finance monthly for 60 months. Lease on the 2021 Chevy Trax 36-month 10K mile per year lease. $199 dock fees. Payments plus tax and fees. First payment acquisition due at signing. Must qualify for all applicable GMS lease loyalty incentives. See dealer for complete details. Offer ends 3/31/21.
The big basketball tournament we can't say the name of is coming to Indy. I'm more than excited to spend the entire month with the basketball tourney right here in our Hoosier state. My friend Larry Howald tells me he's even more excited for spring. Why? He tells me it's tune-up time in Indy. Call and schedule. No one wants their AC to go out on the first hot day. AC tune-up includes a lot of checks from testing control to cleaning or replacing the air filter. Give Larry and his team in Broad Ripple a call now. Be an early bird this spring. 317-255-4328. Howald Heating, Air, and Plumbing. We're coming home. Never felt so good.
This is for the men who never settle. The ones who believe only quitters end a game in a tie. The type of guys who choose the bar with the biggest TVs to overcompensate for theirs at home. And the men who use PTO to catch afternoon basketball in March with the boys. This is the Lodge mentality. This is Twin Peaks.
Who wants to settle for a single TV? With more TVs, bigger screens, plus our fabulous scenic views, there's more to watch at Twin Peaks.
Hey, it's John from Forum Credit Union, always coming up with these original ideas, a little bit of financial help side for you. That's Kevin and the gang at Forum Credit Union. I want you to keep this in mind. Coming up in April, it's National Credit Union Month. To celebrate, Forum is going to have a special savings challenge just for you where you could be entered to win an Oculus Quest 2 while also saving. Learning to save, bettering your financial situation. That's what Kevin and the gang from Forum Credit Union will constantly do to help you. Advice and resources on all of their social platforms. You can make that appointment today with Kevin or somebody on the staff too to go over everything and to help you understand even more your financial situation. Online, all the information you need. forumcu.com today.
Indy's favorite sports bettor's advantage is the free PropSwap app. PropSwap is where America buys and sells sports bets. This is Kevin Bowen, and I use it. Download the PropSwap app today.
Allergies, viruses, poor air quality. Just give family a call. 317-577-8077.
Family Heating and Air Conditioning is your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
The Ride with JMV.
Awesome! Totally awesome! All right, Hamilton.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Kristen Airy, Fox Sports Indiana, soon to be Valley Sports as of next Wednesday. Pod that up at 1075thefan.com. TJ Wolf is in there as well. The assistant at UCLA, friend of the show, his older brother Ryan. Daughter Izzy is a part of the Hot Shots with Laney and our girls. And TJ was awesome. UCLA assistant coach. We had Michael Lewis yesterday, who's on Mick Cronin's staff, and so is TJ Wolf from Martinsville. That pod is up as well, 1075thefan.com. So what really happened in the final moments yesterday before 3 o'clock and a deadline for T.Y. Hilton to make a decision on Baltimore or to remain in Indy? I'll talk to Mike Chappell about that coming up at the top of the hour, because the way that T.Y. explained it to Pat McAfee earlier today on his show was that Jim Irsay stepped in at the final moment, and that is the reason why 1 year and $10 million T.Y. is back at wide receiver for the Colts, which would beg the question, he's the owner, and he has every right to do that, but does it bug Ballard at all? If that's how that went down, does it bug him?
Is he one of the few players since Ballard has taken over that Jim would do that, has had that significance to the franchise? You think Vinatieri had that too?
I can't. Yeah, I do. It kind of makes you wonder if I'd have to ask. I can't remember if I did ask. I'm sure I probably did, but you would have to think that was, between, Jim and Frank, that was probably a reason why that continued the year before last in the fashion in which it did. But that's interesting because Ballard had a number. They didn't reach it. T.Y. was going to jump to Baltimore for a much higher number, an immediate much higher number, and then Jim stepped in. Mike Chappell, top of the hour, and we'll sort that out for you. Litzy writes this: the Carb Day JMV takeover will be epic. It will definitely be the most meaningful Carb Day ever. It will. I mean, everything. In the background F-bombs that you hear that Kyle has to hit the delay button for every 5 minutes, that's all going to be more meaningful. It really is going to be a beautiful thing. I missed a lot of things last year. Like, we missed this without question. The NCAA tournament. This time last year, there's nothing to talk about except for what we didn't have for the first time ever. It's a lot more meaningful. I mean, even if it still is beneath the bubble. I got to give a shout-out to some folks that going to help me get over to watch the Zags and Creighton coming up on Sunday. I mean, even with so few of ticket availability and such, at least it's still going on. And frankly, if you watch the games television-wise, I can't tell other than they go to the crowd and you see empty seats. But there have been some fantastic games. This has been done up as good as anybody could have asked for, which is why I would love to see this again. I would love to see it during normalcy with crowds and fans. And I know that it sucks for the Pacers, but at some point in time, I would love to see it again. I asked this within the lounge on YouTube Live. Was T.Y.'s one-year, $10 million deal a smart move? The response to me was 10 mil is too much. I doubt anyone else came close. Well, Baltimore went over that threshold, apparently.
T.Y. said today if he would have signed with Baltimore, his signing bonus would have been more money than this contract he signed with the Colts.
And that's what he said with McAfee a little bit earlier today. So that's kind of the basis. That conversation is the basis of wondering just how substantially it was when Jim Irsay, according to that interview, stepped in at the last moment. How did Sammy Watkins? How did that thing go yesterday? There's something else we haven't heard about either. Did that eliminate them from any Sammy Watkins considerations? Should Sammy Watkins be considered in general? Is that necessary? Bob Borden wants to know what my must-win record is this season. Bob, I'll be damned if I have not kept up on that, but I should. I mean, IU crapped the bed on most of my must-wins this year.
I think for the Pacers, I think you're almost undefeated.
Now, last night, when was the last one? Help me out. My short term just sucks. When was the last time I must-win situationed? It was kind of recent. I mean, I throw these around.
It had to have been before the All-Star break.
If I looked at the schedule, I could find out when it was. But then there are smarter dudes out there that can find out when it was. I know that I must win. I don't think IU ever helped me out with the must win there. I think I tagged them a couple of different times, and they crapped a bed on it.
I remember most famously was week 1 of the 2019 season.
The Bengals? The Colts and the Bengals.
No, it was this last year. The Jags. You had a must win on it.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. But I think I'd week 1'd it. I did it during the early season. Well, I don't know if I've ever week 1'd it then. I did it in the Bengals game the year prior, I think. But the week 1 was pretty early.
I think the week before was the Chargers. Didn't they have the Chargers week 1?
Here's the thing about it, though. You look back on it, I mean, that would have been important to get, considering that was the only game they won. So how was I wrong? I know mathematicians, and especially the old farters, are going to say, well, there's no way that's accurate. Look, they still have all these games to play. Whatever. All these games to play. Just give the must-win call the respect that it deserves, all right? We don't need a debate about it. There's a point to be made. We don't have to debate. I am accurate with this.
Was the last Pacers must-win that game versus Minnesota? They ended up winning in overtime. They lost to Chicago in overtime. The next game was
a road
Minnesota.
game, though, right?
That was a road game. That was middle of February.
I don't know if I must win that one. There was one, though, that I must win here. Hell, it might have been the last win before this one. When was the last win they had at home before this one? Because they lost, what, six straight at home until last night? But, yeah, we can start the argument. Stop the argument now.
I think the last win at home was Memphis, beginning of February.
That wasn't it. But there was one, and you know what, Bob, to answer your tweet and your question, absolutely, I got to start keeping track of this. As I mentioned, IU completely crapped the bed on me. Michael Roberts wants to know, will Hulu have Bally Sports, Mike and Avon? Well, it's the same thing other than they're changing their name. So I'm assuming that your carrier or provider will remain either carrying the games or not. This case. This is from Greg. Hey, JMV, is it petty of me to enjoy every Celtics loss? That is a hell of a question. Is it petty for IU fans to celebrate Celtics losses? Even if they like Brad Stevens, even if they felt that Brad Stevens would be perfect and would be the lone home run choice as the next head coach at IU. I will say this. I thought Brad went a little bit overboard with the New Englander crapola last week. Just a little bit overboard. Let's face it. He could have whizzed and completely extinguished any of those IU flames early on, and I know that he was talking about how much he cared and how much he loved, but let's face it, he could have put it to bed early, and the whole fire would not have started in the fashion in which he did, but he did not do that. The flames, I'm not going to suggest he stoked them, but he did not put them out. Until he started talking about all this New England stuff, and I'm a Patriots fan. A little bit overboard there, brother. Come on. He did everything, but I like them apples. Yeah, no doubt. All right, quick break, and we'll come back. Hey, Jimmy, I'm going to get your call coming up on the other side. Chapel at the top of the hour. We're going to sift through some of that one-year, $10 million deal of T.Y. Hilton and what he thought went down and all of that, whether or not Sammy Watkins is in play and who might be next. And is it smart to go all in on a left tackle at 21 or at least using 21 whenever you end up selecting on a left tackle? Is that the path that needs to be taken? Are they making the right move? That and more with Chapel top of the hour. This is 93.5, 107.5, and 1070 The Fan.
When construction companies pay their workers cash under the table, Hoosiers lose out. By not paying their fair share, these companies are stealing over $405 million a year from Hoosiers. Do you know what $405 million a year could do for your community?
8,741 state troopers, 7,937 teachers, 325 miles of resurfaced highways, 112 miles of expanded highway, 783 small business loans, 9,722 new jobs.
That's a whole lot of losses. Visit indianacip.com/tax fraud to learn how you can take a stand.
Hey, John here for LD Smith Plumbing. I can't tell if it's raining outside right now. My AccuWeather forecast eyeballs can't really tell here on Monument Circle, but it has, and it's supposed to. And Lance wanted me to give you a shout to make sure you guys out there are aware of the issues and the problems not paying attention to the efficiency of your sump pump might have with causing water where you don't want it inside your home. So make sure that it's doing what it's supposed to right now. And if it's not, 317-284-9526. In fact, if you have a question about that, 317-284-9526. That's Lance and his local team at LD Smith Plumbing, making sure that everything is running smoothly. And also, in any emergency, we'll have your back. You don't have to sweat it because you got 317-284-9526. And Lance and LD Smith Plumbing is going to make sure you are all good. 24/7, 365. And right now, you can mention my name, get $50 off any service from LD Smith Plumbing. 317-284-9526 online. That is ldsmithplumbing.com today.
Boy, the action never stops at BetMGM. Hoops and hockey, red hot, and baseball's right around the corner, so it couldn't be a better time to take a shot at an easy 100 from the king of sportsbooks. If you sign up today and use, oh, by the way, it's Big Joe, and if you sign up today using my bonus code BIGJOE100, you can win $100 in free bets when you place a $1 moneyline wager on the Lakers-Sixers game, and if either team hits a 3, you win. No matter what your favorite sport is, it's always showtime at BetMGM. Get in on the fun with innovative parlay selection builders, daily promotions, boosted odds specials, and they got a whole lot more. Download the app or just go to BetMGM.com. Pretty simple there. And be sure to use that bonus code BIGJOE100 to win $100 in free bets when you wager $1 on the Lakers or the Sixers to hit a 3. Bet with confidence. Turn your game days into paydays at BetMGM. This is a new customer offer, paid and free bets. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. Must be 21 years or older to wager. If you or somebody you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
Rick Edelman, award-winning radio host and founder of Edelman Financial Engines, takes questions on his radio show. Let's hear his answer on long-term care.
Hi, Rick. I'm worried about the cost of long-term care. Should I get insurance?
You're smart to ask, because 1 in 2 Americans over 65 will need long-term care. But do you need the insurance? It depends on your financial situation. If you're rich, you don't need insurance because you can afford the costs. If you're poor, Medicaid will pay for your care. But if you're in the middle class, the cost of care could push you and your spouse into poverty. Before you buy insurance, consider your complete finances, including your savings and investments. Get independent advice from someone who will give you the guidance you need, and that's in your best interest.
That's Rick Edelman, founder of Edelman Financial Engines. If you're looking for a trusted partner, talk to one of our financial planners by calling 888-PLAN-RICK or visit rickedelman.com.
We've been listening in on those 2 drivers, sir. Take a listen.
Nice work, Agent, whatever your name is.
Sorry, let me just dial in the frequency. Stand by.
This is a Nissan sales event ad. Got it?
They're saying it's a Nissan sales event ad.
Bravo, you cracked it.
But, wouldn't there be some sort of announcer, sir?
Give it a sec.
Secret's out. Hurry in for unbelievable savings at your local Nissan store or shop online at nissanusa.com. Get a low $229 per month lease on the 2021 Nissan Rogue or get 0% APR financing on 14 models. Well-qualified lessees, $49.59 initial payment for 36 months on 2021 Rogue. Initial payment amounts exclude tax, title, and license. Disposition fee due at lease end. Well-qualified buyer subject to NMAC credit approval. See dealer for financing details. Call 1-888-858-8319 for offer details, list of eligible models, and important safety information. Ends 3/31/21.
Listen closely. A gentle Gulf breeze floats through the air. Emerald green waters gently lap the shoreline. Palm trees sway gently to and fro. Let your senses come alive in St. Pete, Clearwater, Florida, where miles of white sand beaches meet world-class sunsets, where all things vibrant and vivid come together. Plan your next escape at embraceyoursenses.com.
When you place a wager with William Hill Sportsbook, every sports moment is even more interesting. And we have a special 2021 offer to help you bet on all your favorite sports risk-free. Download the William Hill Sportsbook app, and when you sign up, you can get started with a risk-free bet of up to $2,021. Use promo code RADIORF. Must be physically present in Indiana. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-9-WITH-IT. Let's make it interesting with William Hill Sportsbook.
Hey, John for CarX. A quick shout out to Joe Childers. He called me yesterday and said, yeah, just about ready to open up a new location. But right now you've got 13 near you. Fantastic CarX locations, and just in time for you, too, to make that transition from winter to spring with your set of wheels and the CarX March Savings Madness specials going on. Are your brakes squeaking? You get a little grind going right there. They got lifetime brakes, $109.99 per axle, plus maybe your tread on your tire, you can tell you're sliding around a little bit back in early February. Yeah, right now is a great time. Save $140 on a set of 4 select General tires. Financing options available. And I'm going to tell you what, they're the absolute best. Shout out to Micah and Kevin, 135 in Greenwood, Anthony in Plainfield, my friends over in Beech Grove, the Shadeland Avenue location of CarX. The one nearest you can find online, CarX.com. Don't worry, call the CarX man.
Hey, join me tomorrow. I'm going to break down every single Sweet 16 game by not only who is going to win, but what you should bet on. Over, under, spreads, that entire thing. Join me tomorrow, every game.
The Ride with JMV.
If peeing your pants is cool, consider me Miles Davis.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
TJ Wolf, Chris Denari, podcast 1075thefan.com. Thank you for being a part of this show today. You guys really responded yesterday. We got into the 6 o'clock hour, and anything goes. We started talking about spring break trips, and I know a lot of folks are out of town on spring break down in Florida right now, or maybe other places, Gatlinburg. Hell, I don't know. Some are in Mexico right now. But for me, it was the Holodome in Jasper, Indiana. And I was thrilled to find out that a lot of other folks, especially in my age group, also attended spring break for about 3 days at an area Holodome back in the day. That was great. You and your friends running around, playing video games, wet, pinball. Good anything goes yesterday. Jimmy's at 239-1070 talking T.Y. Hilton. Hello, Jimmy.
Hey, what's up, John? How are you, my
Jimmy,
friend?
it is a pleasure to hear from you.
Hey, thanks a lot. Thanks for having me on, as always, John. Hey, I just wanted to bring up one thing about T.Y. Hilton, but before I do, I feel your pain, John, on what you were talking about earlier when you keep the book and the score, the clock at Laney's games. I was a student manager in high school, and as you know, I'm a huge sports fan, especially basketball. And the problem with me, I would get too into the game, and I would forget to actually keep the score and the fouls. So I lost that job pretty quickly.
Hey, Jimmy, lucky for me that I'm hard of hearing, so when everybody starts yelling at me, I normally don't hear it anyway. I get the hand gestures and stuff, but I don't. And then I think people know that that I will occasionally I don't fudge on the score, but yeah, sometimes on foul calls, Jimmy, I'll spread the wealth around a little bit, make sure that we have a nice, fun 40-minute game. So I'm sure I deserve the criticism at times.
Well, in the words of the legendary Packers quarterback Aaron Rodgers, relax. It's just great girls basketball.
Exactly.
But hey, on T.Y. Hilton, I'm really excited and happy for him that he signed the new deal with the Colts. I think it'll give Carson Wentz, that safety blanket that he'll need coming here to Indy. And he actually sat next to my brother and I at a Pacers game once, and ever since then I've always respected how he gets the job done at the size that he is as a wide receiver, and his speed is obviously apparent, but his hands are awesome too. And one last thing, John, are you going to be out before Joe's Grill next Thursday?
I am. I believe, Jimmy, I'm at Coach's on Monday.
Okay.
Tuesday. Coach's on Tuesday. Mucky Duck on Wednesday on the south side, and then at Joe's on Thursday. That's how it's going.
Well, I always appreciate you having me out, and I enjoy it. Thanks again, John. Have a great night.
You got it, buddy. Thank you, Jimmy. Tommy S. and I are going to hang at Coach's on Tuesday. And then I'm going down to Todd and the gang down to Mucky Duck on Wednesday. And then Joe's Grill coming up on Thursday for the opening of the baseball season. And we're going to have from the shop in Broad Ripple and Carmel. Brian and Alex got to bring a Chocola shirt for me. That's one. But they're going to bring up Tucker Barnhart shirts. Those latest releases for you coming up. That is a week from today at Joe's Grill. We'll tell you all about that. Got time for it. But top of the hour, Mike Chappell of CBS 4 and Fox 59. You had Jim Irsay stepping in at the final moment with T.Y. Hilton to up the ante. See what Mike has to say about that, whether or not Sammy Watkins is in play. I got somebody, I'm going to make sure I get this right. Larry Brown, Inside the Lounge on YouTube Live, says he keeps hearing that the Colts are having interest in signing Eric Fisher. I have not heard that. We'll lob that question to Mike Chappell coming up on the other side as well. This is 93.5, 107.5, and 1070 The Fan. Hey, it's JMV. Last year was tough, and even tougher on me had I not got into Franciscan Health to have my colonoscopy. Right, Dr. Mon?
That's right, JMV, because you made your health a priority.
and didn't put off your colonoscopy, we were able to remove your precancerous polyps before they had a chance to turn into cancer.
I know people that put off their screening. I'm glad I didn't.
1 in 20 Americans will be diagnosed with colorectal cancer in their lifetime, and it's the second most common cause of cancer-related deaths. Putting off your routine colonoscopy is nothing to mess around with, but you can also take comfort that knowing that our cancer center is the first and only accredited program for rectal cancer care, and our team is committed to providing the highest level of care should you need it.
Don't put it off. Get the Franciscan Health. They make it so easy, and then you can sit around and watch hoop.
So don't put it off any longer. Go to franciscanhealth.org/colon-care to learn the facts.
Schedule an appointment, even on a Saturday. Tell them JMV sent you.
The tournament is in full swing, and DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app, is putting new customers in the center of the action. Bet $1 on any tournament game. And if your team wins, you win $100. It's that simple. Pick any college basketball team that's still in the hunt for your shot at winning $100. All it takes is a $1 bet and that team winning their next game. There's no better way to put your college basketball knowledge to the test than to put your money where your mouth is with DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the top-rated DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use promo code WFNI when you sign up to turn $1 into $100 if the college basketball team of your choosing pulls off the win. That's code WFNI for a limited time, only at DraftKings Sportsbook. You got to be 21 or older. Indiana only. New customers only. Restrictions do apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem? 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
John here for Forum Credit Union. That's Kevin and the gang getting you signed up if you need a little advice on your present financial situation and how to make it better. Also, I'm going to remind you of this. April is National Credit Union Month. Actually, it's called National Credit Union Youth Month. So here's what they're going to do. They're going to help celebrate that and offer up special savings challenges, one in which you can win an Oculus Quest 2, which I believe is one of those things you put over your eyeballs, right? And it's really fun to play. Yeah, we'll tell you more about that once we get into April. But right now it's all about ways they can help you save, resources and advice on all their social media platforms and all that you need to know and your chance to win and be a part of the Sprout account, which my daughter Lainey and I are going to announce, I think, later on this week. You got it. It's Forum Credit Union for you. That's Kevin and the gang. Sign up for an appointment today or to learn more. That is online. forumcu.com.
Hey basketball fans, this season make sure you're watching all the games with an ice-cold Dos Equis. It's light, refreshing cerveza that's perfect whether you're at the game, at a sports bar, or just posted up on the couch. So before next tip-off, remember to pick up some Dos Equis. Join the Dos Equis team in the Fan Zone Kevin Bowen at Payless Liquors, 146 and Gray Road today from 5 to 7 to sample, pick up fun Dos Equis merchandise, and stock up before the games. Enjoy Dos Equis responsibly. 2020 Dos Equis Lager Especial, imported by Cervezas Mexicanas, White Plains, New York.
Denny Smith from my friends at Sundown Gardens. They have everything to help get your home's landscape off to a great start this spring. Cool season annuals like pansies and more are ready to pop into your planters. Truckloads of trees and shrubs are arriving, and you need a helping hand? Sundown Gardens can plant those trees for you. As Easter approaches, visit their gift shop for the latest in home decor and gifts. Make the most of spring. Sundown Gardens is ready to help. See sundown.gardens.com for their spring garden tips document, or visit 186th Street and Spring Mill Road.
Hey, 888-724-5129, WeGrowHairIndy.com. The option of your real growing hair again. It is there. If you're over the age of 35, fellas, you've noticed that you get a little bit a receding hairline working or thinning on top. Your real growing hair can be had. Just get that private consultation with Darren Andrews and let Darren explain to you PAI, the techniques and the technology they have to regrow your hair. They do. It works. 888-724-5129 or WeGrowHairIndy.com today.
You know Diamonds Direct always has the best selection of precious diamonds. But right now, in the aftermath of 2020's challenges, it's better than ever before. With all the disruptions last year, Diamonds Direct stayed strong and aggressive, working with diamond cutters around the world, finding exceptional values and taking advantage of unique opportunities. The result? A spectacular selection of new, rare, precious diamonds, all shapes, all sizes, from a half carat to 20 carats, and all certified by the GIA, and offered at prices you never thought possible. So make plans now to visit our showroom and see for yourself this expanded selection. Let our expert associates show you multiple choices in the size and shape diamond you're interested in, so you can make the most informed decision with zero pressure. And take comfort in the fact that at Diamonds Direct, whatever happens in the world, we never let anything stop us from our mission to get you the diamond of your dreams. Diamonds Direct, official jeweler of the Indianapolis Colts, Keystone at the Crossing.
You are tuned into the Nissan March Madness Command Center for scores, key matchups, and game times. Right here on Indy's hometown sports station, 93.5, 107.5 The Fan. Sponsored by your local Nissan dealers. 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
WFNI, WIBC HD2, W298BB, WIBC HD3, W228CX, Indianapolis.
Friday on the Fan Morning Show, Kevin Bowen, Jeff Rickard. We're going to give you our Sweet 16 picks. Dave Repson, Big Ten Network, join us as well. Get you set for an awesome weekend here in Indy.
The Ride with JMV.
Just an average guy with exceptional hair.
93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Hey, welcome back. TJ Wolf, Kristen Airy, podcast 1075thefan.com. Another free liquid Saturday night with Heaven Hill Distillery down the hall on B. I'll tell you all about that. A little bit later, you can win a couple of bottles like BT Dew did over the weekend. Jimmy writes this, so the Rockets literally traded Victor Oladipo for a Happy Meal with a toy option later. Yeah. Is that what you describe Olynyk? So would Olynyk be the toy option? Or would Avery Bradley be the toy option later? Yeah. And Oladipo got exactly what he wanted. I mean, he wanted to go to Miami. He got that. He wanted his chance, big chance of free agency. We'll see if Miami decides to go ahead and long-term him there or if he's going to get a legitimate chance on the open market, but it looks like he's got both. And Pacer fans, you get Oladipo and the Heat coming up a week from last night, next Wednesday, at Bankers Life Fieldhouse. Trade deadline has come. It has gone. The Pacers didn't do anything. A lot of teams did. The Celtics acquired Evan Fournier in the Orlando purge. Aaron Gordon from Orlando to Denver for Gary Harris. Nikola Vujacic goes from Orlando to the Bulls. One of a couple of moves the Bulls made to try to get better. Yeah, Daniel Tice to the Bulls from the Celtics. The Pacers did open up a roster spot, though, so we'll see what that might mean. Jalen LeCue was released. Jabari Parker was released by the Kings. The Kings on a couple of deals today. Kyle Lowry, one of the biggest stories as far as the trade deadline of the NBA, he stays put in Toronto. George Hill, the former Pacer, IUPUI, and Broad Ripple player, he's on the move again. His eighth team as a 34-year-old in the NBA, OKC to now Philadelphia for the former Pacer guard. And some others here or there we'll dive back into in a bit. Meantime, on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline from CBS 4 and Fox 59, he has Mike Chappell. So, Mike, I want to start right here. So Pat McAfee had T.Y. Hilton on today, and the way that T.Y. Hilton explained it, he was going to get more money from what we understand would be Baltimore, but and he thought he was going to go because of the deal and the money, the figure that he saw from Chris Ballard, but Jim Irsay jumped in at the last minute and got the deal done. Is that how you heard that?
Yeah, I listened to the McAfee show, and I posted something on our website if people want to read it. But it did. I remember we talked to Irsay, was it last week? I think it was, where he kind of went through the dynamics of he and how he and Chris work, and he says sometimes he'll go to Chris and say, "Hey, maybe we need to sweeten the pot." Sounds like this is one where Irsay said, we need to sweeten the pot. Not like with a question mark at the end of it, but we need to sweeten the pot.
Right.
So what would really be good to know is what money are we talking about? I mean, he's saying that he could have gotten more than $10 million from the Ravens. Are we talking a 3-year, $30 million contract where $15 million was guaranteed? Are we talking that they only guarantee? Who knows what the funny money is? Sometimes, Tyson Hill. Remember Tyson Hill signed a 4-year, $160 million deal with the Saints for 5 years, and 4 of the years go away. So it just depends on what the guaranteed money was. And I'm not questioning T.Y. I'm not, but very few players are going to turn away from, say, significant more money elsewhere. So it just depends on what the real money was. And if he turned away big bucks, I mean substantial money, whatever that is in today's pro sports, $3, $4, $5 million, then to come here, then good for him. But if we're talking a handful of, hundreds of thousands, then it's different. But hey, it's good for him. It's good for the Colts. And in this case, you and I get a receiver that we thought they really needed to have. And maybe this is the case to where Irsay thought standing by what you thought was your best offer or your really good offer, because I do get the impression that the Colts, and again, this is if T.Y.'s rendition is correct, if they were that close to losing him and they needed to step up, then that's what you do. You don't want to be sitting there saying, boy, if we'd only given him an extra $1 million, this wouldn't have happened. So in this case, if the Colts gave in, which it sounds like they did, good for them.
Mike Chappell with us. See, the way he explained it is, and this is what Kyle and I heard on McAfee's show, was that he would have gotten more just by signing with the Ravens than he did overall from the Colts. Did you catch that?
No. That McAfee missed up. No. Hell, he signed what was his extension last time? $40-50 million? No. I think McAfee misunderstood him because T.Y. said I would have gotten more the day I signed than I did from Indy. And then Pat said, more than you ever got in Indy. Well, no, it's just T.Y. signed a
I thought he said he would have gotten more the day he signed in Baltimore than what that contract is worth here in Indy that he ended up with.
That's exactly how I read it. I just thought Pat misunderstood because, again, I can look it up, but he signed while we're yapping here, I'll look it up. He signed an extension whenever it was in 16 or 17, whatever it was. It made him one of the highest paid receivers in the league. So, he just misunderstood. So, 1 year, $10 million. I was thinking 2 years, 17, 18 million, with 9 or 10 million guaranteed. So he got what I thought he would get. I'm a little surprised it's 1 year. Maybe he, when it came to all this, that's what he wanted, because now we're back here next year. If he's what they need him to be this year, then maybe he can get the decent contract, next year when hopefully the cap will be quite a bit higher. So it works. It doesn't. The problem is, we all kind of jumped in. I know I did. Well, Colt for life. This stays in Pac. Well, he's a Colt for life until next year. All this does is perhaps kick that down the road a little bit, but I think it was so important. I mean, what was their fallback? Sammy Watkins? Really? That's why I thought it was really important to, yes, stay true to your principles and not overpay and, not have a player sort of dictate to you. But T.Y.'s value to the Colts in that room was immense, and they really needed to get this done. I'm glad they did.
So Mike Chappell of CBS 4 and Fox 59 on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. It's going to sound like I'm trying to stoke a flame here, and I'm not whatsoever. But it does occur to me that, and you gave, the explanation of, sometimes in situations like this, Jim may step in and say, sweeten the pot. But in this case, it does make you wonder, as frugally as Chris likes to handle free agency, how much he would appreciate that. I'm curious. How much would he appreciate that? I mean, would that get on his nerves whatsoever if he is going by this certain line in the sand financially he has drawn, but because of and listen, do I think T.Y. is good? Yes, but I mean, you and I both know that these are sentimental reasons more so than anything else, right? Is why Jim probably stepped in. I mean, there's belief that he can produce, but there are sentimental reasons also attached to this. Do you think Chris appreciates that?
Well, it depends on how much stepping Jim did. Now, if Chris was saying, "Hey, T.Y., we got 1 year, $6 million," and really, that's my limit. And then if Jim Irsay comes in and says, "No, it's 1 year, $10 million," it depends on what the difference was and how much pushing was done. I can't believe that they would have been where Chris would have taken great umbrage to Irsay saying, "No, in this case, we need to do this." I realize that Jim Irsay is probably driven a little bit more by, I guess, loyalty is the word, than maybe Chris can be. Because if you're in Chris Ballard's shoes, you can't be driven by loyalty. You can't be driven by keep T.Y. here, by the fan base or whatever the heck it was. You can't. I mean, what's the old saying about the time you listen to fans? Before long, you're one of them. So I can't believe that Irsay would have just said, "Chris, we're going to double what you're offering." So now maybe I'm wrong, but I think that it was just sweetening the pot a little bit. And again, this is all if it's a great narrative by T.Y. I hope it's all true.
Yeah, it's funny, too, because it makes you wonder what Chris was offering, because this was just sent to me from Warwick, who's a listener. It says T.Y. It was reported by ESPN that the T.Y. offer, I guess from Baltimore in this case, was 3 years and $16 million. So you'd make 1 year and $10 million here, whereas you may spend 1 year there and not even get close to making $10 million there, and then be cut loose after.
Well, you don't know what of the $16 million. What if all 16 is guaranteed?
Right, and that's just what it says right here. I haven't heard that, but we had an email that say 3 years and $16 million, and that's what he had heard from ESPN. So.
And what he's got here is $8 million guaranteed.
Yeah,
it just depends on how you structure these things. That's why I said, when we talked the last couple of weeks, I really anticipated a multi-year deal for T.Y., 2 or 3 years at $10 million a year, and it would in essence be a 1 year deal to where you can walk away after year one and not there's no dead money or whatever. So it all depends on what you guarantee. Anymore with teams, if I'm a player, I don't care what my base salary is. I don't care how long the contract is. How much money is guaranteed? How much am I getting that if you get a burr up your butt, a year later, you cut me, or I don't perform like you anticipate, you cut me. All these contracts, how many teams have cut players who thought at the time they were getting a pretty good deal, and that money goes away. So whenever you see these big contracts, and the Taysom Hill thing is just the one that jumps out at you, that's what teams do, and agents can do it. It looks like a really – now, Hill's different. That's all bookkeeping. But there's a lot of players that get these 4 year, $80 million contracts, and maybe $25 million is guaranteed. Now, I realize that's a boatload of money, but it's not $80 million. So it's all about how much do you love me? How much? Do you love me $8 million? Do you love me $15 million? Do you love me $20 million? So until we know how that goes, we won't know. So, but again, I think 1 year, if it's $10 million for T.Y., how is that not a good deal? I'm back to where we were with Carson Wentz. People are, not crazy about it and all this stuff, and I'm thinking, but who? Who would your plan B be? So I just think it makes sense to do it like that and see where it goes. I'm a little surprised that, like I said, it's a 1 year deal, but if he performs like the team needs him to and he wants to and thinks he can, they'll be back here next year. And the problem is T.Y. will be a year older. And you'll know what you have with Michael Pittman. You know what you have, you hope, with Paris Campbell. Then Zach Pascal will be unrestricted. So this kicks the can down the road a year. But I would rather move forward with Ty. With this group now is not a great group of receivers. It's not top 5. But if people stay healthy, and with Paris Campbell, that's a big but, it's a pretty good group. I think everybody agrees that Ty could have been used better last year. And Michael Pittman loses first half of his year with that leg issue. So I like this group. I don't know how you think. Is there still room for a receiver? Can they bring in Sammy Watkins or somebody?
Listen, you know me. I mean, you don't have to ask me twice. Of course, there's still room. Of course there is. I told Carson Wentz last week, I said, if I were making the moves, you'd have 35 wide receivers to throw to.
I know it. Well, I just remember that one year where it was after 18, I think, and Chris was just killing himself about, not doing enough to have depth at receiver, which I understand what he was doing.
All he had to do was listen to me. I told him the whole damn time. He just didn't listen.
Well, but that year, go back to training camp that year, and I thought they were pretty well stocked. I really did. God, and then everybody started going down. So I just think you can only do so much. But this is a good group now. But what happens if Ty and Michael Pittman go down? Then all of a sudden it's not. If they carry 6 receivers, it might be hard to carry another veteran guy, even if it's 1 year, $4 million, because right now your 6th guy is probably Desmond Patton, or is he 5? I'd have to look at my list, but if they're going to add another playmaker, make it be a tight end that can catch the ball, get down the field. That, to me, that's more pressing certainly now with T.Y.'s return than adding another veteran receiver. And again, you can probably get you a veteran receiver in May or June and won't cost you much at all.
So Mike Chappell with us. I'm going to ask you this question and see what you think. I think I know the answer, but I'm going to ask you. If you take T.Y.'s name off of it, and I were to tell you ex-receiver who played 15 games, 56 receptions, 762 yards, and 5 TDs a year ago, and the Colts gave ex-receiver 1 year and $10 million, how would you think about that deal? If you just take the name away from it.
You think they're no, you think they're crazy. Yeah, you would. But in this case, it's not in a vacuum, and you've got to know the backstory, and you've got to know. And that's why the 1 year works. It's the 1 year investment, and I think it makes sense. But no, you're right. But this is like if we're watching training camp last year, and we watch Patman and Michael Pittman play, and if you take their jerseys off, you would have thought Patman was the better player. He had a better training camp than Pittman did. But you can't do it that way because you know what's going on with this. And you just again, so much of this is speculation. You just have to believe that he's going to be a better fit with Carson Wentz than he was with Phillip Rivers, just because of maybe the style of quarterback. And boy, they missed some shots last year, and they just got away from Ty a lot last year until the end. Again, he's not that deep post threat that he was with Luck, but I still think he's got some big plays in him that have really gone away the last was it 2 years, 2.5 years? Big plays have been gone. I mean, he's not had those monster chunk plays. His chunk plays have been 25, 28 yards. They need him to be that guy, and maybe he can be. Again, I really like the makeup of this team now with him back. I wouldn't like it nearly as much if he's gone and you're trying to find that guy. Because, again, I'm not sure who's out there now that you've waited this long. Had this not got done and he's in Baltimore, are you really comfortable going in there with Sammy Watkins and Michael Pittman? I would think no.
You think, is there still room for Sammy Watkins, or was that visit yesterday now meaningless because of T.Y. resigning?
That's a good question. I mean, I think you could. And again, if it's going to be on now, it's certainly going to be on their dime. It's going to be on, this won't be one where Jim Irsay says, Chris, we need to sweeten the pot a little bit more on Sammy Watkins. That's gone. This will certainly be on whatever the Colts value Sammy Watkins. It's going to be that 1 year, $3 million, $4 million? I mean, how do you give with other – right now they're probably $30 million under the cap, maybe not quite that much. I was looking today, and over the cap has about $39 million, but that doesn't include T.Y., and I don't believe it includes Xavier Rhodes. As we talked about, again, when they had $40, $50, $60 million of cap space, it goes quick when you give T.Y. 10, or I guess maybe it's 8 against the cap, and then Rhodes 6.5, and on and on. The other ones have really been minimal contracts, even Marlon Mack. But it goes in a hurry, and let's not forget, who's their pass rusher? I mean, right now as they sit here today, who's their pass rusher? They've got 3 second-round picks over the last few drafts, and you don't know if any of them can be the guy. One of those 3 guys, Teray and Lewis and Banagou, they need to be the complement, not the guy. So, do they bring Justin Houston back on a 1-year deal? It wouldn't shock me. Who else is out there? Carl Lawson and Melvin Ingram and I don't know.
Yeah, Lawson's somewhere else now. I mean, Lawson's signed.
Okay,
Lawson signed. Melvin Ingram and Justin Houston, and Jadeveon Clowney is still out there. And you're right.
I wouldn't take him if you paid the money.
Well, I agree. I agree with that. But
if it was your money, I might do it just to see your money go up in smoke. But
I can't afford that.
Can you imagine, as disruptive as Clowney is, his undisciplined game playing for Matt Eberflus, it'd be funny to watch, but it wouldn't last long.
Well, I think it stands to reason that they're going to end up bringing Justin Houston back.
He's going to see that there's not a whole lot out there. This has got a team that's got a chance, and you can't lowball him because this man's got some pride. But I think if you give him whatever the word decent is in terms of money, $8 or $9 million, I don't know. But if that's the worst you can do, I would do it. I just don't know how you can go into the season with those 3 guys we talked about and maybe another second-round pick that maybe can do it. I think that would be – Matt Eberflus is a really, really good coordinator. That would be asking him to make chicken salad out of you-know-what.
Yeah, that'd be something. But I think that's the logical, conclusion that maybe they run back Justin Houston coming up next year. I guess we shall see. The T.Y. thing is, to me, that's really interesting, though. And I'd love to know how Chris really feels when Jim does step in like that. It's kind of like what I like to know whenever Chris talks about, the window here just now opening, whereas Jim talks about how it's wide open and multiple Lombardis and the golden era. He's the owner. And, the owner can say whatever the owner wants, but I would really like to know deep down inside how Chris would feel about those public comments. And
my only question on Jimmy stepping up is, again, how big was the foot that he step up with? And again, if it was just a smidgen, then that's no reason to not get it done. Because again, what T.Y. said, he was 5 seconds away. Remember, he said 5 seconds away from going to Baltimore.
But and you talk about, though, Houston having pride, getting lowballed. I wonder how T.Y. felt about that deal he was being offered to stay here from Chris, compared to when Jim stepped in, compared to what Baltimore was offering.
Well, again, I would really like to know what the $16 million had to do with guarantees. Maybe if it was 3 years, $16 million. It's hard for me to believe they would give half of it in guarantees. Maybe they would. But, again, it's just whether you're comparing apples and apples or apples and aardvarks, whether it's $8 million guaranteed as opposed to $16 million that might not really be $16 million. You just don't know. And I don't know that we'll ever get that specific information on it. But I don't think T.Y. should look at 1 year with a chance. Well, I think the extra $2 million incentives is, somebody said $8 80 catches and 900 yards. That's not a slap in the face. That's not being lowballed. Not when you look at the market. Juju Smith-Schuster went back to Pittsburgh 1 year, $8 million. Will Fuller got 1 year. So it was a strange year market-wise for receivers, and T.Y.'s age didn't help things as far as his leverage. But I don't consider 1 year, $10 million a low ball or slap in the face. But to your point, I would like to know how much Jim Irsay needed to sweeten it to get it done the way it got done.
Hey, good listener Jerry asked me and asked you as well via Twitter, wants us to name 5 other NFL teams with a better wide receiving group than the Colts. I guess I would probably respond to that, Mike, this way. I don't know what you would say to it, but I would say any team that has a legit top tier number one. I think you start right there being already better. So, I mean, with Stephon Diggs, Buffalo would be one. You're with me on that?
No question.
Right, Buffalo would be one. Certainly Kansas City is one. I don't know how you feel about Washington, but I think with McLaren, I think that maybe he's not an elite level, but he's getting there. His numbers are growing. I don't know how you feel about the Washington football team. The Packers certainly would be one. The Vikings, to me, would be one. The Saints, the Buccaneers, the Falcons, the Seahawks, the Rams, the Cardinals. I mean, that's like 8 or 9 right there.
Well, and it comes down to all those teams that you mentioned. I need to do a little bit of homework, but like you said, when you've got like a top 10 receiver, DeAndre Hopkins and Julio Jones and all these guys, that's where it starts. Then all of a sudden everybody else can sort of do their roles. The Colts still don't have a bona fide number one. I mean, T.Y. was at one time. But I hope it doesn't come off as a slight to say that he's not what he once was. I mean, he's not. But that's not to say he's still not a quality player. But no, I would much rather have a team with no doubt, no question, top guy, and then I'll make the rest of it work as opposed to kind of what these guys have got and what these guys have had is. It is some really good players. I mean, maybe Michael Pittman's going to be that. We didn't see enough last year to say, boy, this is going to be Reggie Wayne. This is Reggie Wayne revisited. But until we see that, and again, I'm old school, and I think I've kind of gone back and forth with Frank on this. Is I'd much rather have that one guy that you just know that he's going to. I don't care how you cover him, he's going to get 8 catches. 130 yards. He's going to get a couple touchdowns on you. I don't care what you do. Unless you're Bill Belichick and you simply take him out of the game. How many times have we seen teams have that guy? Back in the day, Calvin Johnson, people knew he was – back in the day, Marvin Harrison.
Oh, yeah.
People knew. He's over there on the right. There he is. He's not going anywhere. And he's still got 8 catches and 120 yards. So I'd much rather have that guy and try to find 2, 3, and 4 than to have a couple of 2s and try to find a 1. I'm with you on that. And you and I tell you, that's a hill you and I are going to die on, and
forever.
I guess we'll have company on it.
I thought that was a good question by Jerry. I know that would require now during free agency a little bit of research, but I think off the top of my head, those are 7, 8, or 9 good.
I don't want to pay $18 million a year for a receiver. I wouldn't have given that kind of money to Galladay or any of those guys just because when I prioritize, I'd rather have overpaid for one of those pass rushers.
Yeah.
I don't know which one. Just if I'm going to sink money, big money into a free agent, it's going to be a pass rusher. It just is because he can impact. All of a sudden, your corners are better. You don't need to pay your corners big money. A pass rusher. I'm not necessarily saying a Freeney or a Mathis, but I'm saying a guy who can get you 12, 13 sacks and 20 quarterback hits. He impacts your entire defense a notch above what a DeForest Buckner can do. We saw what Buckner can do from the inside.
Yep. Hey, good stuff as always, Mike. I appreciate you. Have a great weekend. We'll do it next Thursday.
You too. Talk to you later.
It's Mike Chappell of CBS 4 and Fox 59. Just a casual Colts conversation that goes really in-depth. 239-1070. We'll close this show out with your calls coming up on the other side of Thursday on 93.5, 107.5, and 1070 The Fan.
Of course, there's always one team that ruins your tournament bracket every year. But that's why this year I'm going to bet the entire tournament, whole thing on FanDuel Sportsbook, America's #1 sportsbook. Because on FanDuel, your first bet is risk-free. Doesn't matter who you're betting on. New users get up to $1,000 in site credit back if that first bet doesn't win. FanDuel has odds on all the action, games day and night. It's an easy-to-use app, multiple deposits, fast withdrawals, and always-on promotions. Your next chance to win with FanDuel is only minutes away. And if that's not enough, FanDuel wants to make you a millionaire. That's right, you. They're giving away $1 million to one lucky bettor. New and existing users get an additional shot at the payout every day you bet the tourney. All you have to do is sign up for the FanDuel Sportsbook app online, download it, use the promo code WFNI. That way they know I sent you. That's WFNI. Got to be 21 or over, present in Indiana, no purchase necessary. Restrictions apply for $1 million drawing. Risk-free offer for first online real money wager only. Site credit non-withdrawable expires in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See sportsbook.fanduel.com for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
Hi, I'm Ryan Kelly with thehomeloanexpert.com. It's no secret that the housing market is red hot. Homes are selling day one and they're going for over list price. Some folks are making offers on homes that they haven't even seen in person. The competition is fierce. You have to be pre-approved and working with a strong mortgage lender. Get a leg up on the competition and get pre-approved now. TheHomeLoanExpert.com. The Home Loan Expert LLC, NMLS number 1326241.
Hey, John here, FanDuel Sportsbook. So the tournament's down to 16. You guys have been watching it, but you have been peering from the sideline. Now's your chance to get in on all the action with FanDuel Sportsbook because they're going to hook you up with an exclusive 30-1 odds boost on all 16 teams remaining in the bracket, even the top seeds, even the Gonzaga Bulldogs, even the Baylor Bears. Bama, whoever you're looking at, still in 30-1 odds on any team to win their next game this round. That is awesome. That's FanDuel Sportsbook. So, for you first-timers out there, get that first deposit to unlock your exclusive 30-1 odds boost for the 16 teams remaining. But do it this way. FanDuel Sportsbook, download it to your smartphone or device. Use the promo code JMV. That tells you who sent you. FanDuel Sportsbook, promo code JMV. 21 plus and present in Indiana. New users only, must wager in designated offer market. $10 first deposit required. Max bonus $150. Restrictions apply. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
We've been listening in on those two drivers, sir. Take a listen.
Nice work, Agent, whatever your name is.
Sorry, let me just dial in the frequency. Stand by.
This is a Nissan sales event ad. Got it?
They're saying it's a Nissan sales event ad.
Bravo, you cracked it.
But, wouldn't there be some sort of announcer, sir?
Give it a sec.
Secret's out. Hurry in for unbelievable savings at your local Nissan store or shop online at nissanusa.com. Get a low $229 per month lease on the 2021 Nissan Rogue or get 0% APR financing on 14 models. Well-qualified lessees, $49.59 initial payment for 36 months on 2021 Rogue. Initial payment amounts exclude tax, title, and license. Disposition fee due at lease end. Well-qualified buyer subject to NMAC credit approval. See dealer for financing details. Call 1-888-858-8319 for offer details, list of eligible models, and important safety information. Ends 3/31/21.
Hey, John, for Diamonds Direct, every diamond is unique. And you know what? So is your buying situation. Here's why. It can be anything. You might have a benchmark anniversary that you got to get a great gift idea for. Maybe a birthday, maybe a graduation gift, or I know a lot of you out there need something for an engagement ring. That's why I love to recommend Diamonds Direct, because they're going to be number one for you. The best on everything, including what really jumps right off the page, the flash, the sparkle, the bling. It is going to look awesome. But for you, fellas, I get it. The price tag is important, and you're not going to find a better price on what you're looking for to make this gift-giving idea the best it can be than what you're going to find at Diamonds Direct. Price tag, warranties, guarantees, I should say. Absolutely unmatched stuff right here. And tell you what. There's a lot to be said about hassle-free, and it is a hassle going to 19 different places to find that best deal. And I can tell you honestly right now, the best deal you're going to find is at one place, and it's no pressure, no risk environment, a complete Diamond education, that free lifetime warranty with any purchase. You got it. It's Diamonds Direct, the official jeweler of the Colts. Diamonds Direct, Keystone at the Crossing.
If there was a group of people dedicated to training their members by the best professionals at state-of-the-art facilities, and those diverse members entered the workforce as the safest, most productive workers in the industry, if they were an economic force within their communities, and if they were the kind of citizens you'd be glad to have as neighbors, what would you call them? How about the 12,000 proud Hoosier men and women with the Laborers International Union of North America?
This is for the men who never settle, the ones who believe only quitters end a game in a tie, the type of guys who choose the bar with the biggest TVs to overcompensate for theirs at home, and the men who use PTO to catch afternoon basketball in March with the boys. This is the Lodge mentality. This is Twin Peaks.
Who wants to settle for a single TV? With more TVs, bigger screens, plus our fabulous scenic views, there's more to watch at Twin Peaks.
This is Dave Magine with B&W Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Drains. For a free second opinion on your furnace or air conditioner, look us up at BigBlackTrucks.com.
B&W, your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
Find the best odds in the country only on the free
JMV.
Prop Swap app. Kevin Bowen here. You buy directly from other sports bettors who are ready to cash out. Join the rest of us and go to PropSwap.com right now.
The Ride with JMV. 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
TJ Wolf, Kristen Airy, Mike Chappell. Podcast 1075thefan.com. Thank you for being so good inside the lounge today on YouTube Live. Hey, JMV, would you rather have Karis LeVert or Kelly Olynyk or Avery Bradley? I think the Pacers got the better of the deal for Oladipo. There's no question about that. Oladipo ultimately got what he wanted, though. He got both things that he wanted. He wanted to go to Miami. He got that, and he wants free agency. He's going to get that unless Miami decides to go ahead and extend him before he actually hits free agency. But he got the best of both worlds. And then you get Miami and the Pacers coming up on Wednesday. Less than a week away here. But he did get best of both worlds. And, yeah, Karis LeVert is a lot better than Kelly Olynyk and Avery Bradley. LeVert with that game-winning 3 last night. JMV, what about Ryan Kerrigan? That was one of the guys I did not mention as a veteran pass rusher as a possibility. But, I mean, really, it kind of looks like all the arrows are pointing to the return of Justin Houston. We'll see. Chris Raines writes this. That's what I heard, too. Regarding T.Y. Hilton on McAfee's show today, he said he would have gotten more on the day of signing than of this current contract that he signed with the Colts. So got more on the day of signing with the Ravens than what he got. That's what he said earlier today. That's what I thought he said, Chris. Thank you. Exactly. Yeah, I saw this. So Roger Penske, and this is unsurprising, Roger Penske wants to see 250,000 fans at this year's 500. I do too. I do too. I do too. Yeah, he wants 250,000 fans. And we shall see. I want that, and I want a carb day. We got a lot of time to make up. I'm hoping for the best. But yeah, 250, and that again should surprise nobody. And we'll see ultimately how many are going to be allowed in there. But Roger Penske wants 250,000 for a race day. And I want a carb day. So we are hoping that is all good at some point. JMV at 1070thefan.com. That is the email address. Hey, JMV, per the conversation earlier, ain't nothing better than a Busch Light draft. Nick, I'm right there with you. It's from Keith. JMV, starting the season as a Reds fan is like contemplating a cross-country trip in your car that's a lemon. You tell yourself, yeah, it can make it, but in your heart, you just know it won't make Oklahoma. Keith. Oh, man. Keith. JMV. That's good, too. I have another name, and I haven't even brought this up today, and it's kind of been nice. Not too much IU conversation. Listen, Michael Lewis came on the show yesterday, and he so slammed that out of the park. I mean, what more can you add? He described it perfectly. Harley D says, hey, JMV, if there's a carb day this year, it's going to be Sunday before I remember who I even am. Yeah, they get me out there for a JMV takeover, too. You know we're going to take that bad boy next level. No doubt about it. JMV, what's your expectation for a new first-year coach at IU? Make the tournament, beat Purdue, just a winning record? Great show as always, Region Rat. I think you got to kind of have a grasp on what you're looking at. Purdue's going to be really good next year. You have no idea what IU is going to look like next year. How many they got in the transfer portal now? Jordan Geronimo went in today.
I think they've got 5 in there now.
Race Thompson's in there. Al Durham is in there. Armand Franklin is in there. So I got 4 dudes in there right now. Yeah, they're not careful. They're going to equal how many Sycamores are in there. And we'll see. We'll see if any of those guys double back and go. We'll see if any of these guys like the coach that ultimately is hired. We shall see. But that's tough. Listen, I know that, as Michael Lewis said yesterday, and I thought said as, again, fantastically as anybody could have said, I mean, prioritize beating Purdue again. Prioritize just being what IU has been known for. And I'm not talking about what it's been known for the last 10, 15 so odd years. It was good. I couldn't offer anything more other than that. It was as appropriately said as possible. All right, quick one. We'll return, maybe close out with a couple of phone calls, recap the day, get you set for tomorrow. 93.5, 107.5 at 1070, The Fan.
We buy any car. We buy any car. We buy any car. Any.
Did you know trading in your car at a dealer could cost you money? A recent study found consumers who trade in their car pay an average of $990 more. So don't trade in. Sell it to We Buy Any Car. Learn more and get your free online valuation now at WeBuyAnyCar.com.
Find out how much your car's worth at WeBuyAnyCar.com.
Denny Smith from my friends at Sundown Gardens. They have everything to help get your home's landscape off to a great start this spring. Cool season annuals like pansies and more are ready to pop into your planters. Truckloads of trees and shrubs are arriving, and you need a helping hand? Sundown Gardens can plant those trees for you. As Easter approaches, visit their gift shop for the latest in home decor and gifts. Make the most of spring. Sundown Gardens is ready to help. See sundown.gardens.com for their spring garden tips document, or visit 186th Street and Spring Mill Road.
Hey, John, for Indiana's best, Andy Moore Buick GMC, 131st and State Road 37 in Fisher. So you guys reach out to me often and say, hey, I hear you talking about Eric Wilson and that car buying experience in Fishers. How about a little bit more? And I tell you, go for it. Because if you're looking for a new set of wheels, no matter what you're looking for, you are going to find the best deal possible. And Eric and his staff are going to be the absolute best to work with. But I will give you a little bit of a tease on some of those great deals. And since I'm driving around a GMC Acadia right now, I can tell you that thing is fantastic. You will love it. And we're talking a great deal right now. Nothing down, $249 per month on the GMC Acadia. And man, that thing's got absolutely everything that you want in a ride and then some. That's just one of the great deals that my friend Eric Wilson will offer up to you. I'm telling you, the best car buying experience, I always try to mention, hassle-free is so important, and that's it. One-stop shopping is so important, and that's it. It's Eric Wilson, my friends at Andy Moore Buick GMC, 131st and State Road 37 in Fishers.
If you suspect mold in your home or business, don't wait to address it. It could be a health concern. You need to know. Contact a company you can trust. Spore Masters. Spore Masters is a local company that specializes in indoor air quality, mold remediation, and viral disinfecting. Spore Masters uses industry-leading processes and equipment and is capable of handling large facilities or your home. They offer air and surface sampling for mold and particulates. SporeMasters.com. 317-257-7673. SporeMasters.com.
My daughter's making college plans, and she's got a long wish list for her future. We toured IUPUI, and we're impressed. With the campus located in downtown Indianapolis, she'll have access to real-world opportunities that will put her education to work. And with professors ranked in the top 50 nationwide for exceptional undergraduate teaching, she'll have the guidance she needs to make her future goals a reality. Want to know more? Go to iupui.edu.
My name is Bill McQueen, and I own Perry Acoustics, a construction company here in the great state of Indiana. Each year, some construction companies misclassify their employees as independent contractors and illegally pay them cash under the table. That puts companies like mine that pay a good living wage and employee benefits at a major competitive disadvantage. These companies rob our state of over $400 million a year. Imagine what could be done for Hoosiers with that money.
Visit indianacip.com/tax fraud to learn how together we can tell them to stop stealing from Hoosiers.
Hey, it's Rob Belushi at Bill Estes Ford in Brownsburg. All March, Indy is tourney town, and our mascot, Brian Baby Boomer Weddle, is in tryouts to make the team.
Hey, Coach Rob, can I stop running now?
Listen up, Baby Boomer. We have a strong game plan to win this month, and if you want to make the team, you got to keep up with the plays. Our first play is $15,000 off 2020 F-150s.
$15,000 off F-150s. That's a great play.
And we're running $8,000 off 2020 Escapes.
$8,000 off 2020 Escapes. Another great play. Wait, how many plays are we running at once?
That's a coaching decision, Brian. We also have over 200 nearly new vehicles ready to get in the game.
And we can give you the assist with $2,000 more for your trade.
Now you got it. I'm promoting you to team captain. Keep that mascot suit, though.
Why?
Because you're doing both jobs now, captain and mascot.
I think that's impossible, Rob.
There's no I in Estes, Brian. All March, get $15,000 off any 2020 F-150 or $8,000 off any 2020 Escape. Your key is waiting at Bill Estes Ford in Brownsburg.
The Pacers are in Texas to face the Dallas Mavericks tomorrow night at 8 on 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan. The Ride with JMV.
Well, you're going to have to say that. You're going to have to speak up because I can't hear you.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Hey, welcome back, TJ Wolf, Kristen Neri, Mike Chappell. Podcast 1075thefan.com. Rob Nichols writes this: why wouldn't every player from every school not transfer or not enter the transfer portal every year? Or at least this year. There's no penalty. I would agree. I mean, it just depends unless you're completely satisfied where you are, and especially this year when it is the Wild West and you can go anywhere you want. I mean, to me, it's a huge pain in the ass. And I guess to a lot of these kids who got to be brown-nosed again, I think it's painful. Absolutely painful. You can go back in, have people smooch your butt again. Oh, great, do this. I'm assuming the only ones that don't enter it are already leaving, or I guess one of the few that may be completely satisfied with their situation, I guess. But, yeah, I think this thing sucks. JMV with Waving LeCue. the TJ Leaf experiment was a complete flop. It was even before that. Hey, Sean, give it a go really quick here. Go ahead. Sean, you there? Go ahead.
Yeah, my opinion about the T.Y. Hilton Irsay situation is maybe it was more like a situation where Irsay and Ballard got together and said, hey, we'd like to sign this guy at this price, but we're willing to sign him at this price. Chris, you go see if you can get him at X dollars, and if not, I'll jump in there. I'll close it at Y. Maybe it wasn't so much like overstepping him.
You know, and that's logical, Sean. Thank you very much. It's logical. I think Jim did have that last-minute step in, but, I mean, they certainly could have been on the same page. What choice do you have if you're Chris, because he is the owner? Sean, thank you for the call. TJ Wolf, Kristen Neri, Mike Chappell. Podcast 1075thefan.com. You guys, awesome once again. Kyle, great job. We're back with you tomorrow at 3 with another incredibly enjoyable and you're loving it show. And thank you very much for doing so. 93.5, 107.5, and 1070 The Fan.
We go out as a group of guys, some former players, and they are just blown away with how great my hair looks.